And we should be live. Hello, everyone in chat and joining us live. Just having a couple of minutes just testing audio and stuff like that, then we'll get into the show. Rog, Lee, how are you?
Yeah, good. Just if anybody in chat can just say if they can actually hear us or not, that would be good.
Good stuff. Okay.
And here, that's good.
Yeah, Anakazi, thank you.
I mean, as long as you guys can hear me, that's all that really matters. So
that's it.
That should be okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Anakazi, Scorpio, Corporate Zombie. I've seen you
Scorpio.
on Space Docker Corporate Zombie. I've noticed you on the high score tables there. German Rifter, Simplex, Les, Paradise Decay. Nice. Excellent.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so we can probably get straight into it then. So I'll just do a quick introduction just for the audio podcast, but I'm going to host this week. So if things are not quite as slick up to our usual slick high standard, then bear with me, but it should be fine. So hello, welcome to Recentered, episode 40. My name is Gary, and joining me as always is Lee and Rog, and we're going to be talking about VR, AR, Meta, PSVR 2, all sorts of stuff related to that for the next couple of hours or so. But yeah, this is our second live show, so thank you to everyone for joining us in chat, joining us live. Feel free to comment. We'll respond on various topics and stuff like that as well if you comment in chat. But with that, let's get into it. So Rog, actually no, Lee, let's go. Let's follow the show doc order. In fact, let's go. Lee, what have you been up to this past month, really, since our last show?
I know it's gone quick, right? Because I'm thinking, in a month, I could spend like an hour talking about all the VR stuff and that where I've been doing, and I've hardly been in it at all this last month, really. Jumped in a bit with Rog, playing a few games, played a bit of other games that we'll speak about later on. Seeing all the updates, I finally got the update, the V69 update for Quest 3, and is it altered the desktop view in the headset? Do you know what I mean? Because that was experimental before, right? Where you could get like three screens in front of it. It sort of like brings up giant monitors in front now, instead where it only brought one up. Does this make any sense? Probably not.
I'm sure they've altered something, but I honestly can't remember what. I thought the general sort of the panels, what they bring up now, seem larger.
Yeah, that's what I
they
thought
are.
As well.
Yeah, they have. You can still make them smaller if you grab them and drag them forward towards you. Then they will still be small again. But then, as soon as you come out of the headset, it goes into standby, and then you go back in. They're back to being larger again. So yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but that's definitely.
I'm sure
changed.
that was experimental before, an experimental option. But when I tried to watch YouTube on the YouTube app in full screen or something like that, it wouldn't go full screen. But yeah, so that's something that's kind of threw me off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I went out to Meetspace VR in Nottingham, which is also known as, come on, Rog, what's it called?
Oh, I forgot. Don't ask me. I forgot. I've not been.
Zero latency, isn't it? Wasn't it?
Zero latency. That's the one. Yeah.
Also known as.
Now, I think some places are called zero latency.
I think
this one is called Meetspace VR.
Right.
I think I can speak about it now because it's available publicly. And we went to a beta testing. So there was me, Dr. Oculus. I think Buck drove 2 hours up to Sears and PD. And we went and jumped in that. And yeah, it's probably the best experience they've got there for that type of thing. I'm not really up on the lore or any of the game type of thing for Space Marines, but there's a few issues. Obviously, this was a beta when I tried it, so we were slightly higher. I looked slightly higher than everybody else, and the gun was slightly off because of like giant, kind of Gears of War type guns. But overall, it ran pretty well. Did have some issues with frame rate. I think a couple of bits where you're like flying in choppers, and if you look outside because there's no doors, and then it did tend to stutter a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, it's a really good experience. I mean, I got to the point where I think it's 8 players, and I think we might have mentioned it. I think 6 is probably best because there was a point where we were like right at top of this massive like skyscraper, and you could see out all over the world, and that looked really impressive. And I was just really looking at the view, and everybody else was shooting all the monsters like coming through this small little tunnel type thing. I thought, well, I can just have a look and have a chill out. Really, I don't really need to kill those. But yeah, if you're close to a Meetspace VR or a zero latency, definitely go check out Space Marine. Unfortunately, I weren't allowed to tweet, or I weren't allowed to get any footage. But the man that owns it said we could go back and get some footage another time. So that's very kind of him. So hopefully I can get back in and give that another go. But yeah, go check it out. It's It's really a great experience.
Yeah, I went to Zero Latency years ago, and it was all different headsets. I've mentioned this to you, haven't I, Lee, a couple of times? But it was all they were using they looked a lot like DK2s. I don't think they were DK2s back then, but it was all laptop-based backpack VR back then, and it's nothing like that now, is it? They're using all wireless stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like I think we spoke about it a few times. It's the Vive Focus 3, which I struggled with the headset I originally put on. It's some weird thing with the floor levels, and then he gave me another one which actually looked a bit better than what I was used to. But we played the zombie game to start off with. I can't remember what it's called, but that's really good. And went straight from that into Space Marines, and I was like shattered after half an hour of playing that. But yeah, I was quite impressed with it. If they can sort out some of the, I understand it's going to be really resource heavy to try and get it to look high res, and some places it did look pretty low res, and there was some glitches here and there with latency and things like that, and compression. But if they can sort those out, like I said, it was a beta. Then really good.
When I went, it was like there was the things we were playing. I can't even remember what it was called now, but it was it had frame rate issues. And, like I say, it was back in the day where I'm wearing a laptop in a backpack and connected to a VR. So, but the frame rate was really a little bit poor. But the experience, what you go for, because you think, well, I've got a VR headset at home, I could play loads of different games at home. But what you go for is the freedom to walk around in this massive area without any possibility of bumping into anything. And you've also got all these other players in there as well with you. That's really why you go, isn't it? Because it's not just for the fact that it's VR and stuff. It's for the fact that you got all this freedom.
There's a family in there as well. There was a man, his wife, and a kid, and we were speaking to them after, and they say, "Oh, we come quite often." And we asked them if so have you got a VR headset? And they went, "No, we just come here and play it."
Yeah.
And we was like, "Well, get a headset, dude, and subscribe to the podcast." You know what I
mean? Yeah. Well, I'll go next because this past week and a half or so, I've not really played a lot of VR. In fact, barely anything this past week and a half. But since the last show, I've gone into quite a lot of stuff, as you'll see in what we're talking about. For the sort of 2.5 weeks before that, since the last episode. But the thing I went into a few weeks ago was called Revria, which this is just a quick mention for people that don't know about this, really. It's on the Quest platform. I think it was actually released originally on the Quest 1. It's very, very early access, and it sort of reeks a little bit of a solo dev being a little bit too ambitious, really, but it's early access, and as far as I know, they are still working on it. But it describes itself as this kind of sort of space life simulator, and this was drawn to my attention. I'd never heard of it before, but it was drawn to my attention on Reddit. Somebody mentioned it and was sort of praising it, and I can understand why. It's got a very sort of basic graphical style, and it's almost reminiscent. The thing that caught my eye is it was reminiscent of some of those old, really, really old pseudo open world Amiga games that I used to play back in the day. I don't know if anybody else is familiar with them, like Mercenary 2, Damocles, and Mercenary 3, and things like...
I don't know if it's anywhere near the same, but Goldilocks in chat is sat here listening to us playing Plan 9 from Outer Space on the ST.
Oh, so, right. Yeah.
Appropriate.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that got, I remember that being in all the magazines back in the day as well, Plan 9, yeah. But this one, it's very much a bit like, well, it is like Mercenary 2. You start off in this apartment, and the graphics are not great. They're very basic. It's running on a Quest standalone and stuff. And it is by a single dev, but very much like Mercenary 2, you start off in this building and you go outside, and then you find your car, your little flying car, your little flying shuttle. And to be honest, there's very little instruction. On the main menu, you've got like this background story that you can read, and I read the background story of what this game is all about, and then you've got further reading that you can do, and I don't know if there's more guidance in all those other sections or not, but I went in a little bit blind. I found myself in this apartment looking out over this planet, as you can see in this video. Then I went downstairs, got into my little flying car and flew around for a while, and then there's all these other little buildings around, and you can fly up into space and stuff like that. It's quite impressive for what it is on a standalone, but it's still, it feels like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's a solo dev that has made this, but it's one of those games where you think, this type of thing with a massive team would be really, really impressive. And one day this might be impressive as well, because it's the kind of game I used to absolutely yearn for back in the Amiga days. Anything that was like open world, that gave you freedom, that was a sandbox, really. That's what I wanted back then. Now we've got
Mercenary and Damocles and things like that, but with more.
Yes, something like that. But it's I mean, that's what it was like. But you just wanted. It's like Hunter. You remember Hunter on the Amiga?
Yes.
I wanted open worlds, and because you couldn't get those kind of games very regularly back then. Now they're all over the place, and it's a different kind of landscape for games and stuff. But this was just reminiscent of that anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just a quick mention for anybody that isn't aware but is interested in this type of sort of sandbox open world game where you can do various things without a lot of guidance. Quite honestly, I think there needs to be a bit more guidance of what you should do at the beginning. But yeah, interesting nevertheless. Anyway.
Simplex has just asked, well, he asked a bit about how do you configure the highlighting of the person currently talking? Some kind of OBS magic. It's an OBS plugin, right?
It's no, it's not. It's a website. I can send you. I'll put a link in the chat sheet. What you do, you go onto this website and link your Discord to that, and then any chat that you appear in, it will then highlight the avatars, and you can import your own avatars if you want to as well. It's very straightforward. I can link you Simplex. It's easier. Yeah, there you go, dude. There you go. Yeah, but that's Revria anyway. So yeah, check it out if you're interested in that kind of thing. And also, before we get onto the main stuff that we've all been playing, I did go back into Assassin's Creed Nexus as well. For the, I keep forgetting that I have this even installed. Really, I've been meaning to play more and finish it. I've still not finished it. I'm just plucking away at it, half hour here, mission there or so, and I really do think it is a really good game, and I think it sort of got a little bit forgotten about now, as I forget I've even got it installed. But I do think it's worth, if you have just went in on launch and didn't go back in, I do think it's worth just going back into and giving it a try and persevering a little bit with the missions. It's got a relatively interesting sort of story guideline thing that you're progressing through, but it's just the fact that this is running, again, it's on standalone, the graphics look great, it runs relatively well compared to what I remember it running at launch anyway. I am running it through Quest Games Optimizer now, so it feels, I mean, the problem is with this video, you can see it's juddering a little bit. I can't get it to run at 120 frames per second in the headset. So what I'm running here is probably, there might be clips where I've run it at 90, trying to get 90 and at a slightly lower resolution than at 72. But the problem is capturing 60 frames per second at those frame rates means that it doesn't output great video. And all the time, no matter what you use, you will be running in reprojection as well on both of those settings. But I think I settled on around 90 frames per second, and I'm really enjoying it. It's nowhere near as stuttery in the headset as I remember it being at launch, and it might not have been updated in that capacity. I'm not sure. It might just be as you get to the later levels or the different areas that there just isn't as much stuttering. I'm not too sure, because that was the only criticism I really had of it. Well, one of the main ones at the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
But the game itself, it's really, really satisfying. And just going through like this level that I'm showing on the video now, you sort of breaking into this building.
It does look nice.
Yeah.
It does look nice at night time.
And I miss that kind of this stealth thing where you can go around and just pick off these enemies one by one, and each of the other enemies doesn't even know you're there yet. And you can really, play into that feeling in this game, and it works really well. So yeah, Assassin's Creed Nexus, I am still plucking away at it. It's like a low priority, I suppose. It's just nice to have in the background while I'm playing a lot of other stuff, just to jump in now and again. I don't know if either of you have gone back in.
If it's on sale, I might pick it up again. No, because Rog gifted me the game, right? And I refunded it.
Right, yeah.
I got the game for free and refunded it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, seeing this, and people are saying it is a great game. Like you said, you're getting more into it now, and it's just that really, I don't want to keep going over it, but just that really bad stuttering at the beginning. That I just couldn't get past that. I was just looking for it even more then. So then it made it even worse for me. But if the later levels are okay, maybe it's something I would jump back in, because it was nice to be like in the square with all those people walking about and to be in the Assassin's Creed world. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 is one of my favorite games I've played anyway. So
I've got no nostalgia for the games really, because I never really played them anyway, and it's, in all honesty, it's a done and dusted thing for me. I'll never go back to it. I don't think.
Yeah.
Main fan saying he preferred Nexus more than Asgard's Wrath 2, and I generally agree a lot with main fan on stuff, but I couldn't disagree more on that. I thought Asgard's Wrath 2 was an infinitely better game than Assassin's Creed.
It's a shame that don't release this on PC VR or maybe PSVR too, and just to see what they can get. Those extra frames just to make it a nice smooth experience. Maybe. I don't know with our Ubisoft's going at minute or any dev at minute. Who knows what's going to happen?
You wonder though, because originally I think Meta sort of paid some money towards this, but wasn't there some news story or something based around it where they were saying that they don't have any? It's like not an exclusive necessarily for Ubisoft. The problem is it's up to Ubisoft then to port it over, and I don't think they've got any interest in it based on what they said after it was released. How sales were not great for it and stuff. So. They've probably not got a lot of interest in it, but I mean, I'm not sure I'd say it's better than Asgard's Wrath 2. I've not finished either game, so it's difficult to say. But I think Asgard's Wrath 2 has got better performance. It feels better to play, I would say. But then again, I do really like the stealth mechanic in this. I do, and that's a big win for me on this game. But okay, Rog, what about you? What have you been up to the past month or so?
Well, first one, the Tomb Raider Beef Raider mod. I had a quick look at. I put that here because I just want to mention it briefly. I've not had that much time on it. I had maybe an hour in it. It's pretty neat. It's worth a look. If you own the old Tomb Raider games or even one of the re-releases, you should have the files there. The installation for a mod is really good because basically it gives you a desktop app you run. You click a button, it automatically finds your Steam folders for you. There's another button to download some music pack that it needs. I think that might be optional, but it's really small anyway. So you do that, and then basically you just run the game. So there's no dragging and dropping DLLs and stuff all over the place. It's really easy to install. And yeah, it's good to look at from a nostalgia point of view, but good grief, this game has aged badly. I've had a look at it for an hour. I doubt I'd actually be bothered to go back and actually play through it. It feels old now. It's so fiddly when you go to like pull a lever on a wall or push something up. It's just you need to be in exactly the right spot to do stuff. And then when you're swimming underwater and you're trying to pull one of the levers underwater, you have got to be so precise where you are before she'll start interacting with the lever. I just ended up getting really frustrated. But yeah, I mean,
you remember when that first came out there, Rog? I mean, even I can remember when saying it to my mates, that saying, "Look, dude, you've got to get this game, this Tomb Raider on PlayStation. The graphics aren't going to get better than this. They're never going to get as good as what this is." But now watching this video, it's like, ooh. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Main fans asking if I only played third person. No, I did play it in first person. I couldn't stand it in first person. I just found it way too fiddly and awkward. There is like a sort of diorama over the top sort of, Diablo-y sort of, whatever you want to call it, sort of view you can play. And I think it supports pass-through if you play the Quest 3 version. You can get it on Quest 3 as well, just native. But yeah, I just prefer the third-person view. But yeah, it feels like an old game. But then again, if you still love the original old one, if you're the sort of person who still goes and plays this occasionally from time to time, give it a shot in VR. You'll probably absolutely love it. Free mod. Can't complain.
I'm still hoping they do bring out Unreal Tournament. I have dropped it a few times when they've been asking, any games you'd like to see? Yeah, Unreal Tournament, please. Multiplayer, we can all jump in that first person. That'd be mint.
Yeah, I remember playing that back in the day, loads, Unreal Tournament. That was...
one of the first games I ever got when I got a PC. Yeah. I got Star Wars The Phantom Menace, and then I got Half-Life, which I played it for 10 minutes and thought, this is garbage. And then I got Unreal Tournament, which, at the time I thought it was crap. I didn't play it for years, mate. I didn't play Half-Life for years until one of my other friends, I think his name's Scott, said, I've been playing Half-Life. This is so good, you need to play it. And I'm like, no, I've had it ages, I'll play it. And then, I did actually finish it. A few years later after it came out, because I was more interested in playing Unreal Tournament.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. No taste. But the main thing what happened this week is we got an invite, or should I say, Gary got the invite, and then we ended up all getting invited to a media event for DigVR, and because of various reasons, I was the only one out of the three of us who went along to it. But Massive thanks to Dr. Oculus, who drove 4 hours there and then 4 hours back.
It's a long way, isn't it? Bloody hell.
Oh, no way we're getting there without that. So big thanks to him. So yeah, go check out the VRverse podcast and give that a watch. So this is DigVR, developer called Just Add Water. It's published by Wired Productions, and it's out on the 24th of October. So we got invited along to this media day, a place called Diggerland, and the video on the screen at the moment is Dr. Oculus and I think Clickster doing hook a duck with diggers. And the previous bit was me trying out the game on the Roto VR chair, and basically it's a digger game. I'm not entirely sure because they didn't say that we could or couldn't talk about anything. I don't know. But the game's out on the 24th, so I'm going to wait, and I don't know whether we'll get review access to it or not, but I'm going to pick it up anyway. I will say I was pleasantly surprised by this. I was expecting something, but more than anything, the performance was flawless, which is always a good start because then you can just enjoy trying to play the game. But yeah, it's a digger game. What more can you say? I'll go into it more when it comes out because I will actually go and play it. If we don't get keys, I will pick it up and play it. I was pleasantly surprised. Now, one of the big things though, the takeaway from this day, they had like it's like a sort of like a family day out type place called Diggerland. It's more for like adults with their kids really, but they booked it out for this media event. And so the first thing we did was actually play the game. And we got maybe half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour playing the game. And then there was other activities through the day, including actually sitting in a digger and, operating diggers and digging holes in the ground and all sorts of things, driving dumper trucks around, JCB with one of you driving in the front and three of you sat in the back whacking your head on the ceiling, all sorts of things like that. So, yeah, it was actually genuinely a fun day. The crazy thing is, after playing the game, the first thing we did after that was go to the actual real diggers. You sit in the cab, somebody goes, oh, this control does this, that control does that control does the other. There you go, have at it. The bizarre thing is now the controls in the actual real digger, or should I say in the game, are mapped accurately to the actual real thing. And the crazy thing is, when I was playing the VR game, I was sort of like obviously struggling and getting used to the way everything worked because it's all virtual controls. So you've got like a joystick for swiveling the cab around, moving the arm forwards or backwards, up or down, scooping the bucket and everything. And I was sort of getting to grips with it at the end of my time playing the game. When I sat in the cab, I grabbed those controls, and maybe it's because there'd been like 15 minutes in between or whatever, and I knew what the controls were. And I grabbed the controls, I moved the arm out, scooped up some dirt, put it to the side, and dropped it in a real digger with zero effort. And I thought, holy crap. You know what I mean? It's like I've had 20 minutes playing a video game. I've just sat in an actual digger for the first time and no issue at all.
Yeah.
It's like, I know people go on about, yes, they use virtual reality for training. Walmart use it, don't they? You get, other construction companies. People use it for virtual reality for training. This is the first time I think I've ever done something new in VR, then immediately and gone and done it in real life. And that, it's one of those things where the first time you actually do that, you go, yeah, I believe it now. It works. And that was 20 minutes, half an hour playing a VR game. And then sitting in in physical real thing and being able to use it. And the physical digger was easier to operate because you've got the feedback of the controls as well. And it's like that. It blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind that worked. Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean though, because when I played Blade and Sorcery, I found stabbing people in real life really it gave me so much practice. I was going to say though, on that roto chair, because I was just thinking, because on this video you're playing on that roto chair. That's like, because I've always wondered with that kind of thing what I would use it for if I had one of those. But this is almost like the perfect game for that chair, that setup, isn't it?
Yeah. On the subject of that chair, I don't know how fast it can actually rotate in another game because obviously it's simulating a digger and those cabs rotate slowly. Yeah. But the haptics from the chair were really good. They were really strong. I accidentally rolled the digger up onto like a pile of dirt at one point, and it really shook me. I thought, oh, that's good. And at no time, though, did I notice that I'd actually even rotated around, because at one point I was facing 180 degrees away from where I'd started, and it was too slow to even register I was turning.
Oh, right.
At all.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, that could just be because of the game and the slow-paced nature of it. But it was like, yeah, I could have probably got the same sort of effect with a couple of butt kickers.
Yeah.
As opposed to, a fully motorized sort of turning a chair. I mean, that might be totally different on another game if it can turn a lot faster. But yeah, no, it was a fun day. I'll definitely pick the game up, and I'll definitely cover it on the next episode. But yeah, just thank you to everybody for that. It was really fun. I think met up with a few other people. Power on VR was there. Say Clickster was there. A load of other people. Somebody, I think is it Jazz or somebody from Thumb Culture, the game website. He was there, and he was kind enough to hold the camera while I was on the roto chair. Fun stuff. Thanks to everybody for that, and had a good time.
Good stuff. Okay. Okay. Well, let's go on, Lee. Did you?
I was just going to say very quickly. Have you guys finished Titan Station yet?
Oh no.
I've finished it. Yeah, I finished it.
You finished it.
Yeah, loved it. I think it's great. Some bugs. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a bug-free game, because it's definitely not. It's I ran into some bugs towards the end where I had to reload saves and stuff. But regardless, I loved it. I think it's something different. That's the thing. It's not. Yeah. It's not the same all the way through.
Goldilocks. We won't tell you anything. Yeah, it's the story. It's more the story. I think.
Yeah.
If you go check out VR Gaming Podcast, main fan played it as well. He was messaging me back and forth about the game, and I think he did like it, but he had some issues with it as well, which is fine. I think we've all had a few issues with it, but as far as story-driven games go, it's one of the best things I've definitely played this year. So just wanted to drop that in quick. But yeah, no, keep playing, Michelle. It's going to twist and turn you all that way. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, actually, we can go back to Rog on this next one then, because you've been using the Kiwi K4 Boost battery strap as well for the Quest 3. Is that right?
Yeah. Kiwi got in touch with us and kindly sent us their latest battery head strap for the Quest 3. Now, the plan was to pass this on to Lee along with the some controller grips as well. Unfortunately, life got in the way and we weren't able to do that, so hopefully we can.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It'd have been better if we could have had a couple of us talking about it, but no problem.
It's the grips that I really want to try more than anything, just very quickly, because, I mean, I struggle to grip something hard for a long period of time in my hands, so that's where them grips would be coming handy. I'm just starting to realise what I've just said there. But,
I'm surprised you didn't immediately jump on that one.
No, I just clicked on when I said it. But the gripping part I do struggle with. So those would be really handy to try. So back to you, Rog.
Yeah, if we can't meet up, I'll whack them in the post and we'll get everything.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll drop down at some point and we can try them out.
Yeah.
So anyway, arcade.
Yeah. Oh, that arcade in Donny. I'm going to that later this month. I'll let you know. I don't know if you'll be able to get
let me
down.
know when it is. Yeah, sure, dude.
The Kiwi 4 Boost battery strap. It's basically an update of the previous version. Their original version I actually bought when it first came out, and I've been using that ever since. I've never bothered changing to anything else because I really like it. It works. It's fine. I wish the battery life lasted a little bit longer, but it probably doubles the length of my play session. And that's fine for me. I've had no reason to change it, and it's comfortable. This is like a revised version, and it works exactly the same, pretty much. The only problem is, I don't know why they've done this version when the other version's still there. It does look nicer. If you want something what looks a bit more streamlined, it looks nicer than the old one. I like the contrast with the black and the white on the back. They've moved the dial inside the strap, so there's no sort of it's not bulging on the back of the headset. Although you still obviously got a battery on the back, so if you are leaning against a chair or whatever, there's still something substantial sort of behind your head. The cable at the side is a lot nicer now as well, because before it ran all the way from the back of the battery, like a long cable, to the actual connector, and you could sort of clip it onto the side. There was a little strap to clip it onto the side. Where now it's sort of a lot of the cabling or the wiring, whatever, is built into the strap, and it comes out at the joint, and there's just a very short wire where it plugs in. So it looks a lot nicer, basically. Aside from that, it's basically the same head strap, and I would absolutely use it. And but my thought was, well, I've already got one, so Lee might as well test it out, see what he thinks about it, see if he prefers it.
Yeah, because I do like the top strap on this, because it's like a thicker strap when I'm watching on this video, and it reminds me a bit of like a Pico when I had the Pico 4 and had that, and so it would be a lot more comfortable on top of my head because I struggle with the Bobo one a little bit.
Yeah. I would say battery wise, I mean they say anything from 2 to 4 hours extra. I don't think that's accurate personally. It feels to me exactly the same sort of battery lifespan I get out of the original one, which, like I say, probably doubles the length of whatever I'm playing. And obviously that can change depending on you're playing something at 72 hertz with not much in the way of graphical power required. It's going to be different if you're playing something at 120 hertz and you're trying to record video as well, and so it's going to vary. So it's hard to say exactly how long it'll last. But this feels exactly the same as the old one. The only problem I've got recommending it is, I think at the moment is it 54 quid? I've looked at the prices on the website, and some of their prices do vary day to day by about £1. So I don't know if things are sort of fluctuating with sort of the exchange rate or something. Because I've noticed this go up and down £1 compared to when I took some images for the video from the website compared to earlier on today. Some of the prices were £1 off, and I've seen it happen before as well. The problem I've got is the old original version that I was using, and I've actually gone back to, because I was going to say Lee the new one. The old one is £39 currently on sale. It's normally £47. It's currently £39. This new version, I think, is £54. And it's like, is it worth that extra money just to get the new version? It looks nicer, it looks cleaner, and if that matters to you, then probably. I think the new version charges faster as well, I will say that. My old one does take a while. It takes a fair few hours to sort of like get to 100% charge. This seems to go faster. So I think the new one is faster charging, definitely. But it depends. If you want to save a few quid, the old original version is still a good head strap, and I absolutely recommend it. Like I say, I've stuck with that. I bought that and I've stuck with that. I've had no reason to change it. I do miss having a swappable battery on the back, I must admit. It would be nice if Kiwi did a Bobo type thing with a swappable battery.
Yeah.
If they went down that route, that would be good. But yeah, aside from that, really good head strap. Absolutely recommend it. I mean, compared to the Meta ones, good grief, which are what? Are they still 100 quid, 120 quid or whatever?
I think they were 130 quid, weren't they? That's what I'm using. I've got one of them. Because there was nothing. What it was, I went for that just because when I got my Quest 3, I'd used one on my Quest 2, but when I went for the Quest 3, that was sort of the only option I knew I wanted it, and it's what. I knew it was a good head strap, but don't get me wrong, I think it's a great head strap, but it's too expensive for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason why. Don't bother with a Meta strap. I mean, whether you buy a different one or buy this one, go for a different brand. But yeah, I'd recommend the Kiwi one. I've absolutely had no issues with it whatsoever. I find it comfortable enough. I've never bothered changing from that first one I bought. So yeah, absolute thumbs up from me, really. Definite bargain compared to the Meta one at any rate.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
So I just very quickly, if anyone's curious to Rod keeps saying this is a quid and knocked off and stuff, a quid is the British equivalent of £1 or €1 or $1, things like that. Hopefully you would have worked that.
Ish.
Ish.
Depending on the exchange rate.
Currency rate, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, they did send us the hand straps as well, which I did have a very brief look at just to see what they were like. And they seemed comfortable. The only reason I want Lee to use these and review them is because I do not like hand straps. I just don't. They annoy me, regardless of the make. I don't like having anything over the back of my hand. It pulls the controller too far into my palm that it makes the controller it doesn't feel natural the way I hold the controller. So I just don't like using them. But the actual texture surface, the actual feel of them, holding them was really good. If the straps could have just easily detached and just clipped off straight away, I could have been tempted to take them off and just keep the grips on there because they did feel comfortable to hold. But yeah, I'll leave those for Lee to have a look at. But again, thanks very much to Kiwi for sending that to have a look at. And yeah, thumbs up from me.
Okay, yeah, good stuff. The next one we're going to get into then is a game which we got into the beta for, and quite a few other people did as well, but it was Into Black, so we all jumped into this game together. This is on the Quest 3 that we played it, and it's you can play it single player, but it's also got this co-op functionality as well, where you can go in, and it's set on this, it's a science fiction co-op game where you're in this ship and you have to do various tasks on the ship, then you land on the planet. You have to go into this sort of cave system. Each level seems to be like a cave system, at least what we've played so far anyway, and then do these various tasks in these caves. And it's got combat, you've got a gun and various other tools in order to gather resources as well while you're out there. But we jumped into this, didn't we? And it's fun. I mean, we had a pretty good time in there, and I think as a beta, it did a great job of giving you an idea what the game is all about and leaving you wanting a little bit more, at least for me anyway, because I don't often play co-op games, as regular viewers will probably know, but it was a great time when we went into this. It was a bit of a laugh, but yeah, what did you think, Lee?
I mean, we have got a video out of this. If anyone's
That's right, yeah.
not aware.
Yeah.
It's on our channel, so go watch us and our escapades. I think we did get referred to as the Top Gear of VR. So another one, UK maybe, that we got referred to. I think Dr. Oculus what said that. But yeah, it's great fun. I mean, there's some. I mean, obviously it's a beta, so you're going to expect bugs. There's some quite funny ones in there for if you go watch the video that you can see. But I do like when a dev goes to the lens of, because you're in a cave, it sounds like you're in a cave when you're talking.
Yeah.
And I liked how they've added that in. I mean, some of the monsters are very similar to Starship Troopers type of thing. And we had some issues with frame rates with those as well, didn't we, when there was quite a lot of them? But
we did,
again,
yeah.
it's beta. If it improves before launch, I mean, this comes out this month, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too
I'm sure they said October, but I'm not sure if they've given a date yet. I am still on the Discord, so I'll probably check that out. But I'm pretty sure it comes out this month, along with like every other game going. But I really liked it, and in a co-op, it's good fun to jump in as well, and it's not expensive, right? It's like is it like £10 or £12 or £12, something like that?
Yeah, is this the one where it's like 11 or 12 quid?
Yeah,
or maybe slightly cheaper if you pre-order it, but in the States, I think it's $20 maybe. Is it that one?
Oh, yeah,
I think it's
you're
that
right.
one, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit weird about it being more money in the US, but
yeah,
I'd go in it again and play it when it gets released. If we don't get a key, I'll definitely pick it up.
Yeah, I think
it's been referred to, like as like a poor man's. Well, what's the one? What's in
Deep Rock Galactic?
That's it. You know what I mean? Someone put that, and I thought, well, that's fair enough, but that's running on PC. Then you got to run the mod for it, and then you got to do all sorts of messing around. I couldn't get that to work, by the way. So you can take that one and smoke it, because with the Quest 3, you just put the game on and run it. And I had no issue. I'd have no issues playing this game whatsoever in multiplayer or single player.
Yeah. Say that there are some performance things what do need sorting out. For the most part, it was fine. When you're in the ship at the beginning, when the fire's going off, that was probably the worst part, because there's a lot of sort of transparency effects going off with the flames, and that really that hit the frame rate, where the rest of the game wasn't anywhere near that bad. It was just that one section what we saw what was really poor.
Yeah,
it probably shows in the video as well.
Yeah, you can see it on the video. I was just going to say as well. Yeah, you're right, Lee. It does come out. It just says October still at the moment. I'm not too sure when it's actually releasing on a date, but yeah.
Because so much stuff coming out on the 17th, and I think on the like Roger says, DigVR's coming out the 24th. I mean, 17th is the big one, right? We all know what we're going to get on that day, but I think there's quite a few releases on that day as well, which is, I'm not sure why they keep releasing all these games at the same time, because I think only one's going to take up people's time on that day.
Yeah.
If anyone knows, let us know in the comments what game I want to
Look said, what about the invisible enemies you discovered? Is that the invisible enemies who killed me?
Yeah. That was
funny. Don't start on this. That's you can see on the video that we put out there, that was a genuine mistake. I only shot Rog accidentally about 5 times. It's nothing.
You know what the funny thing is?
At one point he literally pointed his gun in a random direction and fired, and it hit me.
No, so what it was, I was looking at, I just worked out how to get the gun, and then I just randomly aimed in a random direction, pulled the trigger, looked up, and then Roger's standing directly where I've shot, and it's just bad luck. I mean, that was just bad luck, but it did come about 10 seconds after I'd thrown an axe into his head as well. So yeah,
But yeah, you know that bit then when Roger's getting killed by invisible enemies, as soon as he does eventually get back to life, you were like trying to mine this crystal and you shot him again, which made me laugh.
Oh, yeah, did I? I might have done, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like me.
Video evidence, Gary, it's out there.
Yeah, well, we don't need to get into all that now. We've
No,
not been speaking
it.
for about 3 weeks, but...
For what it was, for a beta, it looks really pretty. It's kind of got that cel-shaded look. It reminded me of Final Space when I had a go of it.
Oh, yeah.
How it looks and how it plays. You've got like a robot dude following you around, which I kept calling him John Cleese, right? Because he's got a very British accent.
Yeah.
And although I did get slightly confused when I first started playing it, because there's like the ship's got an AI, maybe a female AI. Then there was another voice I heard, and then there was a robot one. So I was like, well, how many people's on this ship? I don't know which one's which. But there's a bit of puzzle element, upgrading your weapons. You've got to find blueprints out of chests. We couldn't work out how to open them, unfortunately, because we're so new. But yeah, you can always keep going, upgrading and keep going. I think the people did kind of finish the beta and played through. It was about 3 hours long, maybe, for them. They were all raving about it, saying it's one of the best games that they played this year. So good luck to the devs. Hopefully, iron those bugs out.
Yeah.
And then we've got a pretty decent game to jump into.
Yeah, just sort the performance out.
Yeah.
And it's a solid game, I think. But yeah, go watch the video anyway. There's like half an hour of it or something, I think.
Yeah.
Just for Roger's deaths, mainly.
Yeah. Right, let's go. Let's move on. We've got Space Docker VR next. So we were almost half thinking about making this like a space themed episode, weren't we? Because there's so many space things that we're going to be talking about. But Space Docker VR is we played it on PC, and also, Rog, you've got something to say about the PSVR 2 version as well, haven't you?
And some people might think, yes, this is an older game, but yes, we've only come across it recently.
Yes, that's right.
I think I liked it that much. I absolutely wanted to include it.
Yeah, so you liked it a lot, and you mentioned on our little Discord that it's really good. So I thought I'm going to pick this up because it wasn't very expensive as well.
It's like £4, £3, something.
It was on it was on sale. I think it's only like a tenner normally on Steam or something like that, maybe 11 quid.
Yeah, and I went into this thinking like it felt a bit like a throwaway kind of title where you're doing these sort of basic mundane tasks and it's going to be more arcadey, but it's actually got quite a lot of depth to it, more than I was expecting really, in terms of how the ship controls and stuff like that. It uses sort of realistic kind of inertia and things like that, which you really need to master in this game. And once you do master it, or well, I won't say I've mastered it, but once you do some good stuff in there, it does feel really, really satisfying to get these good times in moving these blocks, these crates from one area to another. It's not just that, it does expand a little bit beyond that. I've put about 3 hours into this now, and I really love it as well. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I set it up. Part of the reason of that as well, originally, you said to me, don't use the motion controls. It's because it's got these virtual HOTAS controls, very much like No Man's Sky, where you can control the ship. But Rog said to me, like, go in and set up a gamepad and use that. And absolutely, I mean, it's so much better to play. It's more enjoyable to play with the gamepad. But then I went one step further and set up my HOTAS. And that's even better because I'm so used to playing these types of games, Elite Dangerous and stuff, with a HOTAS.
Oh, sorry, good PP put bonus, as you'll be trained from real space afterwards as well.
This is it. I'm so convinced of virtual training now. I fully believe I'm a licensed galactic pilot and universal hero.
That's it. Yeah. But playing this
if
with
you have any large container that you'd like moving in space, Elon, let us know. But
he's so playing with the HOTAS as well, it's just a great experience. I absolutely love it. That's the way to play it for me. But Rog, I'll pass it over to you because you love this too. Yeah,
somebody recommended this to me either on a YouTube comment or in Discord, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. And I'd seen it before listed, and for some reason I just sort of glanced over it, which is a bit crazy considering how much I used to like Lunar Flight, one of my sort of favourite experiences from back in the DK days. And this is sort of like Lunar Flight, but instead of on the planet's surface or on the moon or on Mars, you're in space, and it's got that same. It feels like it's got that same learning curve with the controls. and I instantly liked it. I wasn't, I don't know, I just was expecting it, yeah, like I say, to be like maybe a throwaway title, and it isn't. The enjoyment comes from learning to master the controls, and I just really love it for that. So I liked it that much. I say we all bought it, but we did actually get a key for the PSVR 2 version because I wanted to check it out on that, and that runs brilliantly as well. There's no reprojection. I've got a feeling it's 120 hertz. When you record video on the PSVR 2 with it, some of it looks really smooth as it's recorded at 60. It drops the frames on the video a little bit on the PSVR 2 recording, but in the headset it's absolutely flawless, and it's absolutely brilliant. On the video we're playing, if you can't see any hands moving about in the cockpit, then that's the PC version. On the bits of video where you can see virtual hands, that's the PSVR 2 version. So yeah, I've had a bit of a play on the PSVR 2 version, but I played it more on PC, and it's just great. I just really, really like it, and I think this is another one of those games what's going to be a podcast game for me, where I can just whack a podcast on in the background, jump into this, and then try and improve my times on the different things. There's a series of built-in missions. There's no real story. There is like a video training tutorial, which when it first came up, I thought, oh no, what have they done? But afterwards, I thought I did actually chuckle at some of the stuff. It's very innuendo sort of laden. The training videos you get, the guy with the hard
it's
hat
like
on.
it's like the developer has got his best mate to do those bits. That's what it feels
Yeah.
like. But it's fine. Yeah, I mean, it does the job anyway.
It should have been really bad, but for some reason I found myself sort of, I did actually find myself chuckling at it. So
Just speaking very quickly of being professionals in podcasts and various things, I've just got this really horrible sinking feeling, and I know why.
Why?
Who else started the recording of their audio?
Yeah,
before
we've not.
started
No,
this podcast?
I thought about that about 20 minutes ago, and I thought it's okay. It don't matter. We'll just extract the audio from this.
Yeah, we've all done it.
It don't matter.
Because usually, if anyone's not aware, we usually like sync the audio together for the audio podcast because we record that separately in case the Discord audio is not good enough. And we put that out for the audio.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking then when Roger's talking, I was like, oh, I feel sick. Something's not right. Something's not right. And I just clicked and I thought, nope, I did start my recording. So sorry about that.
Sorry, we failed. No, PD, you've got us wrong. We didn't forget to let you know when your 30 minutes was up. We're actually making you push yourself to strive to be better and get more exercise.
Yeah,
exactly.
There you go. So, you'll be fitter and you can thank us for it. But yeah,
I mean, this is a bit that I'd cut out in the podcast, but we can't because we're live, so just have to step in. I'm afraid. So sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, back to it.
Oh dear. But yeah, Space Docker. If you like space games where the challenge is learning to control the ship, that's what it's about. Yeah, I absolutely really like this.
What it is. It's like because it's got that inertia, though, that space physics kind of thing going on, which is why this has been going on for ages, like asteroids and stuff like that. That was part of the appeal for asteroids, and this has got it. But mastering that in 3-dimensional space is tricky, and
And the thing is as well, if you think, oh no, I'm not going to be able to control it, it starts with like training options enabled.
Yeah.
And as you get better at it, you can turn those off, and turning those off does help you sort of get, faster times. But you obviously have to be better and more accurate with the controls when you do that. But yeah, absolutely give it a go. It's a bit of an older one. I
had a very quick go. Sorry, Rog. I just can't quite get the frame rate. But inside the space cockpit, and I was quite impressed at how good that actually looked.
Yeah. Yeah, pleasant. Yeah, I'm gonna say one of those where it really pleasantly surprised me, and I really do enjoy. This one. So yeah, give it a go.
Yeah, and another one that Roger and I both played as well. I don't know. You played a little bit this one, Lee, didn't you? Galaxy Kart.
Yeah, I played this before. I'm sure I played this on Quest only, and then is this the Steam version or was it the Quest?
Quest.
I played it. Yeah. I think I played it like on Side Quest or it's like a really early release for Scorpio. It's kind of ringing bells because I think a lot of us got quite motion sick, and unfortunately, I got really motion sick on this like within a minute. So whether it's because I'm using like you could sort of use like a pretend steering wheel in your hands to steer it, can't you? So maybe I need to change the option of that onto one of the different mechanics to steer, and I'll give it another go. But yeah, it didn't sit well with me, so I'll have to leave this one to you guys because I did really want to play it. It's just it's very similar to a Nintendo game, maybe. Except you're in VR.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they've released it now.
So, but yeah, Galaxy Kart. Anyway, the Quest version. They reached out to us with a key for this one and sent us all a key. What I will say with this game is, yeah, it's okay. I didn't think it was a bad game. I didn't think it was a great game either. I remember first seeing this one, I think it was on Without Parole ages ago, and I think it got a bit of bad press when it first came out, and I think they have worked on it quite a lot. And what you've got now is, yeah, it's an okay karting game. It's fine. The problem being, I think Dash Dash World does everything better.
Yeah, that's the problem it's got. Yeah,
in the chat.
This is the absolute problem it's got. Dash Dash World was one of probably the first great karting games on in VR, and I don't think anybody's bettered it. This one is probably better for people who don't like drifting as a mechanic, because with Dash Dash you really had to get to grips with drifting. You spent like most of your time drifting around corners, and you needed to do that for your boost and everything. That isn't in this. This is just purely steering around the track and hitting the boost pads and getting the power ups. You can have one hand on your wheel, power up in your other hand to either fire a gun, throw it. The different characters you can select from each have their own unique ability. Like one of them's got a hook, you fire out to hit a car and you get pulled towards the car in front of you. Another one's got like an anti-gravity gun, stuff like that. And the thing, it's an okay game. It's not bad. It's just not great either, and I think that's the issue. I think depending on what price you can pick it up for would make me, sort of say whether it was worth picking up or not. Honestly, it's bad on my part. I honestly can't remember what the actual retail price is. I think, is it around $15, 15 quid? I remember thinking it needed to be under a tenner.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be under a tenner.
Yeah,
like $7.99 would be a fine, okay price. Like I say, Dash Dash is out there, and that's the problem. Don't know what you thought about it, Gary.
That's exactly how I feel. I think that's its major issue. The thing is, you can look at the videos of this, and on the video we're showing, which I think you recorded this video, didn't you, Rog?
Yeah.
The frame rate, it's got performance issues, whereas Dash Dash World really doesn't, and that's a big deal in like a racing game, I think, as well. You want a nice smooth frame rate, and that might be part of the reason why you got motion sick, Lee. It might be some of the frame rate issues.
Could be.
I don't think it's actually terrible everywhere, but it's terrible in places. And yeah, overall, because I think the environments, they do look quite good as well in this. I think there are elements that look quite nice, but overall, Dash Dash just does everything better, in my opinion. And it's smooth. The environments look great in that as well. So, yeah.
The environments in this are a bit of a mix. Some of them have areas that are genuinely too dark. There was one of the tracks, until I learnt where the actual turns were, I kept hitting a wall because I couldn't see where to go.
Right, yeah.
Most of them aren't like that, but there was one or two tracks where it just got a bit. Yeah, the lighting needs to be improved here. They are still working on it, because I think the week after we played it, they dropped a patch saying there was some Quest 3 improvements. I don't know if they said they put the resolution up or something. In all honesty, I went back in and I couldn't tell the difference. You can look it up in Quest Games Optimizer, and you can make a noticeable difference using Quest Games Optimizer. But yeah, they might keep working on it, improving it and everything, but it's entirely down to whether what you can pick it up for. Multiplayer wise will entirely depend if you've got a group of people you can play it with. I did go to the multiplayer once or twice, but there was nobody playing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's cross play or not.
And
not.
Game on Scorpio did say as well, the thing about Dash Dash World is that multiplayer seems to be dead on that as well. So that's the other thing with that game even.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with it's just a limited audience for this, unless it's Mario Kart, unless it is that IP. That's the thing, I think. So people lose interest quite quickly in these types of games, I think, if they've not got that multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
just very, very quickly, I'll just mention that I kept saying a certain game coming out on the 17th. I got the date wrong. So professional in that. It's I'm referring to Batman Arkham Shadow, obviously, which is available on the 22nd of the 10th.
Do you know when? Yeah, when you said that, I was looking through the list of games on the 17th. I thought ExoCars, is that what he's referring to? There, I didn't understand that.
No, I'm sure there's quite a lot being released on the 17th.
Is there? I can't
maybe I've
even,
got something else messed up in my brain, but I'm like professional as always.
Okay, so then we can talk about One True Path, which is right. So this is a weird one. It's a very odd game, this one. It's on Quest, and it's based on this. It's like a...
Wait, we are allowed to talk about this, right? It's not got no embargo or anything.
Well, we should probably double check that. I did check on YouTube, and people have posted videos on this already.
If the video's on YouTube, then it's all right. But I can't remember seeing anything about an embargo on it.
No.
So, yeah.
Shall we risk it then?
I don't know. Just
double check while I'm introducing it. Yeah, double check.
I'll check our email while you do that.
So I'll talk very slowly. But no, it's like a narrative adventure game. Anyway, it's episodic as well. So this first part, which we've played through, all of us, it's based on this series of choose your own adventure type game books. Really, it's like a VR version of snippets of a choose your own adventure book.
Okay, let's stop talking about this game.
Okay,
and we'll have to cut this bit out when we do the video.
Okay,
because I don't think we're allowed to talk about this. Oh, wait a minute.
There's loads of videos.
Again, I've got the month. Yeah, it's fine. Go.
Okay, right.
Okay,
that's good. I was going to say because
this
heart attack.
I've had a flu jab, right, and I've had a COVID jab, so my brain's all over the place. I don't feel too great, and I've just read it as September the 25th. That's when the embargo is, because that's the launch date of the game. So the game's already bloody out.
I went in.
So I've got that wrong.
I went in last week and I was searching YouTube because I had the same thought last week, and I was thinking, let's just have a quick check, see if anybody's published any videos. And there's loads of videos on YouTube, so I thought, I'm sure we're okay. I didn't even bother to check the official one. But anyway, let's get back into it. So yeah, it's like a snippets of.
This is my last podcast, everyone. I don't know if I'll be back on the next one.
P45's already in the book.
But so we've got it's snippets of choose your own adventure book, but rendered in virtual reality. That's what you're playing through here. And it's not just one book, it's sort of 3 different stories in this first episode. So you've got like a couple of weird sci-fi stories that are going on. Then you've got this one where you're battling skeletons with a sword. And it's got this very stylized look to it where it's all sort of cel shaded and it's sort of drawn in places as well, I suppose. But it's really narrative heavy. It's not really a lot about the combat. There is combat in it, and you might die a couple of times, but it's not really about the combat, and that's not the challenge of it at all. And there's not really much challenge. It's really just progressing through the story. So you find yourself in this office where you've got this guy who's been stabbed in the back with a knife, and I assume this is the writer of all these choose your own adventure books. I don't really know. This is just sort of the cold open. And then on the wall you've got these different pages of a choose your own adventure story, and you can select them and play through these little snippets of story. And really, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's just learning a little bit about what goes on in each of these 3 stories, but then also jumping back to this office area where you learn a little bit more about this person's life and what's going on in his life, the writer, the author of these stories as well. Yeah. But yeah, I did enjoy this. It's for what it is. I think you need to judge it on the context of what it is, really. And it's not trying to be an ultra polished combat game at all. It's really just telling you a story and allowing you to play through little snippets of this. It takes about 45 minutes or so to play through this first episode, and there's going to be more episodes, presumably with different choose your own adventure stories in there as well. But I've got to say, yeah, I mean, I did enjoy it from start to finish. There were a couple of issues which we had, and the main one is you'll see on this video, there's a vignette, and it's got an option to turn the vignette off in the menu, but you can't. It won't turn off no matter what you do. So you've always got this vignette, and it's also got teleport sort of node-based locomotion. You've got no smooth locomotion in here whatsoever, which, I'd rather there was, but I'm okay with it. But
the crazy thing being, it whacks the vignette on each time you move.
Yes.
Each time you teleport. Yes, there is movement involved, but it's kind of crazy. So it's a bit annoying that it released like that. The other thing was, and I did send in like a bug report sort of video when this hit me, because I know when we first played this, I went into Discord and I was not happy bunny, was I? Shall I put it that way?
No,
I was absolutely ranting.
We both, you were, and I went in just quickly, and I did send a bug report about the vignette thing. That's what I sent about, because that was a pain in the arse. That was.
But the problem with me is this: if you're tall, you've got an even worse problem, because you can't turn the vignette off, and if you're tall enough, your head tends, in a lot of locations, your head will sort of clip into the scenery above you. And anytime your head clips into the scenery, it throws the vignette on. And I did post that video in our Discord, just to show you that I wasn't going crazy. And I sent it to the developers as well. But if that happens, you're tall enough that your head's constantly clipping into the scenery, the vignette strobes like it's ludicrous. And if you had epilepsy, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
It was flickering on and off. Like, it was literally awful. And I was absolutely in a rage about it. I did go back into it later on, and this might be the surprising bit to you guys, in that after I sort of fudged the height, so that didn't happen to me, I actually quite liked it.
Yeah. Well, that video you sent, I mean, I've got to say, there's no way I could have played it with it behaving like that. It was ridiculous.
No.
Yeah.
It was stupid. What I had to do was basically sort of stand up on tiptoes on the sofa a bit, set the height, and then step back down.
Yeah.
Just to fudge the height, so I wasn't clipping into the ceiling. I like what they've done. Teleport. Okay, fine, fair enough. But there is a bit of nostalgia sort of here for me, because I think, did they call the guy Jack Stevenson or something?
He's a real author, apparently.
No, that's Steve Jackson.
Oh, is it?
They've switched the name around, so it's blatantly based on his name, but they switched the first and last name. Okay. They fudged the name to sound like it, because it's basically, there used to be Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, who did like all the fighting fantasy books. There was Warlock of Firetop Mountain, City of Thieves, all those sort of things when you were a kid, and you were supposed to play them with like a dice and hit points and go through. And if you wanted this option, you turn to this page. That option turned to another page. And obviously, you didn't bother. You just sort of cheated. You turned to whatever page you wanted. If you died, you always went back. I don't know anybody who played through those books properly. But also, it's also a combination of, back in the sort of those days as well, there were premium rate phone lines you could phone, which had somebody reading out the description very much like it does in this game. And you could, and it wasn't press 1, it was dial 1 to do this, or dial 2 for that option, back when we had rotary phones.
Yeah.
And
you have to Google that one, guys.
Yeah, so they basically combined the fighting fantasy books with those premium rate phone line numbers with somebody reading out the description to the location. Yeah. They've combined it into a game. And I quite like what they've done. The problem being is this episode is very short. How much are they charging for it?
Do you know what? We're really struggling on prices this episode, aren't we? I'll have to have a look.
I've got nothing actually on the email we've got about pricing for it. But there is a website, though.
I mean, it must be on the store.
It's on. The problem is, if you bought it, you can't see that. I've got to go in incognito.
So if anyone wants to let us know in the chat, just check the Meta store and let us know how much this is, and then we can let everybody else know. Thank you very much.
Okay, so on Steam, it's free. It looks like, just as the first one.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it says free.
Oh, like a prologue. So it's like a prologue type.
Maybe it's that. Yeah.
Well, in that case, go and give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Lone Wolf books. Goldilocks was just saying the Lone Wolf books. I'd forgotten about those. Yeah, I remember those as well. Yeah,
I remember playing these. We spoke about it, didn't we, Rog? The old adventure things, like you said, where you die and then you go back to the page that you were there before and just choose the other option. I used to have loads of these books as a kid. Yeah. And when you go into that and you're picking, because what you do is you kind of like play through these short mini levels, which is kind of puzzly, right, Gary? And like you said, when you get to the end, you actually get another page. So that goes onto your like wall, and then you can dial a different number to jump into that part of the story. And I really like what I played. The cell shaded look, the drawn, and the voice actor was kind of cool. The storyline, it opens up a little bit each more, doesn't it? In the room, some more highlights. This corner highlights, that corner highlights, and I guess really the story is trying to find out who's killed the author. The only issue I had, besides the vignetting, which was very annoying, was I went to go back and finish the game. Gary said, I've not got much more to finish it. I said, well, I might as well finish it. Then I can give my, a proper decent review of what I've played so far. Unfortunately, I clicked new game because when you start a new game, it's on the left-hand side, right? And when you go back in, continue game is on the right-hand side and new game is on the left. So I was, half asleep, just clicked on it. And unfortunately, there was nothing that popped up that said, are you sure you want to start a new game or your previous saves will be lost?
Yeah.
There was nothing like that then. I don't know if there is now. So it started again, and I said to you guys, I can't be bothered to play through all that bit again to see what happens. But I would have liked the continue game to be on the left-hand side, if that makes sense, when you've loaded up, if you've already played it. Maybe that's something they can do to stop idiots like me clicking new game.
In all fairness, the entire front end needs some work because
it was hard to read the titles, right? The writing's
there's nothing there, is it? There's really bad font listing menu options and nothing else, and it's like, come on, it just looks bad. The front end, when you jump in, looks really bad.
And I think that's why I messed that up. But I don't know if they've altered that vignetting thing. I'll have to jump back in and see if there's an update for it.
Yeah.
Because there is no option to turn it off. That was the thing. It was either 10 to 1, right? And we kept putting it on 1. But as soon as you come out of that menu, it puts it back to 10 again.
Flips back to 10, yeah. So it's a bug, So I've sent it through. I don't know. Just to confirm as well, the price, it's free on Quest and on Steam.
Okay.
So this first episode, presumably... Yeah, this first episode's free, then you pay for extra ones. I assume that's how it's going to work. And also, just jumping back to Galaxy Kart, that is £15.99 over here as well. Just check the price on that as well.
Yeah.
Did we mention that this game, this One True Path, is by the devs that did... Right, okay, I forgot already.
Fisherman's Tale?
Fisherman's Tale, yeah.
Fisherman's Tale, it's the same devs for that.
Yeah.
That's had an update, so I'm kind of curious
to
see if...
Well, they've updated the second game by renaming it, haven't they? So it's another Fisherman's...
just called it...
It's a Fisherman's Tale 2.
yeah. Instead of another Fisherman's Tale, it's called a Fisherman's Tale 2.
It's got to be SEO.
And they've gone through the entire game. Who decided to do that? Because we know it's the second one.
Yeah.
Or do folks really not know it's the second one?
They probably paid a company a load of money.
Go through the entire game.
Probably paid somebody to do a focused test group.
Yeah,
paid them a load of money and thought
it's probably SEO as well because people just search for maybe Fisherman's Tale 2 if they want the sequel and don't need to more. But
that's true. That's true.
And they might have improved some of the actions as well, haven't they, on it? Apparently,
they're supposed to overhaul stuff, haven't they?
So like getting the hand, moving it around. If anyone's not played, I wouldn't say another Fisherman's Tale. A Fisherman's Tale 2, go pick that up. Me and Gary really liked it.
I loved
Rog
it. Yeah,
didn't. I really loved it as well. But yeah, the controls are a bit finicky because you've got like a hand from like Thing or whatever running around, and you have to. Shoot that off and
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they've changed it though, because that was sort of by design. It was finicky by design, and I can understand it's frustrating. That
I think there's a couple of parts where people kept getting stuck on, which they might have refined. Well,
maybe, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they've done with the controls on that, because that was sort of part of the game.
Well, I mean, it might have been finicky by design, but the design wasn't good. I think that's the problem we have with the another Fisherman's Tale 2 was the controls. It wasn't the game. I've watched a playthrough of the first and the second one in the intervening time, and I would say, if I was just watching it, I would say I think the second one is a better game. It was just ruined for me by the control method.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people felt like that anyway. Because the problem is as well, it is the main mechanic, isn't it, of that game? And if you don't like that, you are sort of screwed.
I really liked it. I thought it was really clever. So hopefully it still kept that kind of, but just refined it a little bit to stop you losing your hand, so to speak.
Well, anyway, One True Path, free to check out. Go on and
check it out. Yeah.
It is out, everybody. It came out September the 25th, so there you go.
Anyone that downloads it, do not share your opinion because there's an embargo on it.
Definitely not.
Right, let's move over to MR, bit of mixed reality, Starship Home. So I picked up this game. Why is it not starting at the beginning? Oh, is that the beginning? So, that's my room anyway on the video that I'm showing here. So this is the office where I'm sitting right now. And this is a mixed reality game. And one thing I'll say, this is probably one of the best examples of what you can do with mixed reality. But to me, this is like a kid's game. It's really impressive. You open this box, you get this little box delivered into your room, you take out all these separate parts of a ship, and it's like a ship a starship being delivered in a box, and you get out the main window where you see out of, then you get out these other little items that you place on your wall and around your room, like an airlock, and then a little home for some little creatures that are living in this tank as well, and then storage kind of tube that you pull out of the ground and things like that. So you set up your starship, and then it gives you these various tasks. It's sort of very basic in terms of the gameplay, and it gets a little bit repetitive as well, but it guides you through all these different tasks, and you're going through this very, very basic story. As a mixed reality like showcase, it does an incredible job. It's one of the best mixed reality showcases you're going to get this time, I think, because it really is impressive and very, very easy to... It sort of caters for newbies, I suppose, people that are new to VR, new to mixed reality. It's so basic to set everything up, get it all placed around your room and stuff like that, but you do need quite a bit of wall space. I'm struggling here, as you can see in this video. I've got things hanging on my wall which just sort of ruin the illusion in places. So there is that to consider, and there's a lot of items that you need to get out of this box and place around your room. Not just the things that actually have value, but also you've just got windows that you can place randomly around your room as well. So I had to fudge a few of those, but you do these various tasks, and then you go to these various planets and you collect these things. But all the time you are in your own house, you are in your own room, and manipulating things. So you send this drone out to a planet's surface, and then you look at it through the main viewing window, and you sort of operate it remotely in order to do these various tasks. But to me, I've played probably about an hour or so, I would say, and it gets very repetitive on the section that I'm on. You're traveling from planet to planet, scanning these dots, and it takes probably about 5 seconds to scan each of these dots, which are sort of around this surface. And then you eventually are able to send the drone down, and you sort of do that several times on these separate different planets. You just feel like it's busy work. It's like you're just being told to do these busy tasks in order to make the game a little bit longer. That's what it feels like. For me, I don't think I'm going to continue. One thing I will say is my daughter's played through this twice all the way through. She absolutely adores it. And I think it caters for that. It's a kid's game, in my opinion. That's what I will say. I think as a showcase for mixed reality, it's great, regardless, you know. But I think to enjoy it as a game and repetitive, very mundane tasks, at least where I am anyway, and maybe it progresses a bit beyond that, but I don't think I'm going to stick with it any further, other than going in and looking at the cool effects that it's doing in mixed reality. Really, that's the use of it. But yeah, I mean, like I say, as a mixed reality showcase, outstanding. As a game, not really my thing.
Yeah. I totally agree with Gid in chat there, who said, I get a feeling mixed reality is not made with British homes in mind.
Yeah.
And that's the entire problem I've got.
I spoke to Gary about this as well before we even started recording, that I got to like the fourth or fifth thing out of the box, and I was like jumping on my settee, trying to get this space on my walls to try and put it, and I would end up falling over also because I've just not got the room. No matter in my house, it's not big enough to have this sort of area to play. No, I mean, I'm sure there's folks PD's played it right on his channel, so he managed to get it to work okay. But for me, I just thought there's too much going on, there's too much things knocking about. I'm going to end up on my arse, so to speak. So I didn't play it, but no, I do like the look of it, and I can see the appeal to the younger generation of this game to play, and it does showcase mixed reality really well from what this video as well, from what I can see. It does look nice.
Yeah, it's certainly not bad from that point of view. It's just it felt a little bit repetitive, mundane, small tasks, and I suppose that's what a lot of mixed reality is at the moment as well, for those types of games. So it's not doing anything wrong necessarily, it's just not quite got to the stage where I'm really invested in what I'm doing in here, that's all. And then we've got Exploding Kittens. Lee, you went into this, didn't you?
This is a nice surprise.
Yeah,
I really like this. I jumped in last night. I just want to thank Welsh Gamer for getting me access to the preview build so I could jump in and play, and there was me, Clickster, Welsh Gamer, and Game on Scorpio, cheat, and we all jumped in this last night, and it's kind of confused when you first get in. But as you can see from the video, you're like in a house it's got like a massive room with all these tables on. And from what I can understand, Scorpio, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, it's not such that you can't like create like a private room or anything. You just jump into one of these rooms, and I believe it's like 16 players can play. not all on the same table, but you've got like 2 or 3 tables. It's kind of like poker, do you know what I mean? You've got so many players on one table, so many on the other. And there's different game modes. And Gary, you mentioned this. I mean, I know nothing about the game before playing it, but it's possibly based off some sort of card game.
I think so. Yeah.
What they've differed with the card game is they've like given you this box with sort of like power balls in, a bit like Deal or No Deal. And so when it comes around, you've got to press this button on top of this box, and that it'll either give you something cool that you can use to play the game, or it'll give you an exploding kitten, which if you explode and die, it will just kill you off. But you do have things like cutters to defuse the bomb, or you use special things like coins to skip a turn, or we were trying to like pass it back to somebody else all the time, and then they'd pass it back to me, and I was like, oh my god. So yeah, it's got some good features to it. You learn it really quickly. There's different game modes. So there's a game mode called Blitz, which kind of made it really, really quick, and that was quite funny to record that, because it was at the end it was Scorpio versus the bots that we had, because we'd all died apart from him, and they just kept like chucking it back to each other every time, and there was like one ball left and one exploding kitten in it, so that was quite amusing to watch. But it looks really nice. It's got that cell shaded look that's a lot of devs seem to be at the moment going for. It ran really well, apart from I had a few glitches maybe with the character animation of Scorpio. And we had some audio issues where sometimes it would cut out little bits, but I did keep having like a Wi-Fi problem pop up, which that was kind of annoying because it's a giant Wi-Fi signal sign. But that could have been me, or it could have been like one of the other guys playing the game. But all you're really doing is trying to get tokens, and you can gamble some tokens to get tickets, and then you can upgrade your avatar or play some like various little mini games. You'll might see from the video there's a couple of like arcade machines around. You can play on those. And as a social thing, I could go in there, once a week, arrange a time, let's go and have a couple of hours playing that game. I really liked it. I think it's $15.99. Now I spoke to Scorpio, and it's another one of those where it depends on the people playing it. You can play bots, but obviously it's better playing it with your friends. And I don't know. I think it's worth that, but I reckon $9.99 would have been a sweet spot to get more people in playing it. But I don't know. I'm not the dev. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what's gone into it and how much fun it is. There was one little bit that I thought was kind of new that I've not noticed before. It wasn't like foveated rendering or fixed foveated rendering. It was like, I don't know if anyone listening's got into photography or anything like that. But in the distance, there was like things on the wall. So it was like a giant picture of like a cat playing cards and things. The further back you are, that was kind of blurred. But the more closer you got, it came into view and you could see it more clearly. So I think that's how they was getting a lot of the game run a lot better than what I thought it would do, because this area is quite expansive. You can go outside, fire rockets off and mess around and things like that. So that was something I've not noticed before in a game. I mean, it may be in other games, I don't know. But for a social thing, yeah, definitely jump in. And I had a right laugh playing it. I do want to go back in it again. It's good fun.
So Corporate Zombie asking if it has co-location, or does it have an MR mode or anything?
Not that I know of. I don't really know how you get, because like Scorpio was in, he said, I'm in this room, and he said you have to go in to enter the lobby, I think it was, and it just put me straight in with him. So I don't know if it's a quest player thing, you're all in the same room or what, because this game did come out Thursday, I believe, and there was only us playing, if that's the case. So we were slightly concerned about that, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. Like I said, I couldn't find a way to create a private lobby. You just jump in to this like one area. So I'm not sure if it opens up different ones or what. I couldn't tell you, but we all got in straight away and played fine. Yeah. It's just really weird on that count. I'm not sure. Maybe Scorpio, if he's still here, can advise a bit on that, because that's the bit what threw me a little bit.
Looks cool.
So I'm sorry I've not answered your question at all. But no, I read it. Yeah, it's good. Go pick it up. $15.99. Yeah, like I say. But if you can get friends to play this, you're going to have a couple of hours having a real laugh, and like make it an event. Make it once a week. I may have a video coming out. I will have a lot to edit, because you can imagine what I was doing with rockets and things. And
oh, you sent us a clip of that on Discord.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't think we should release that.
So to speak.
I said, tag the devs in it. You know what I mean? Why not? But yeah, it's good. I really liked it. Go give it a go. I don't want to spoil too much about the bits you can get in the game. It's very simple. You can use, like you say on the video, there's a fly swatter, then it moves it on to the next person, and it's just about getting the ball out. There'll be 4 exploding kittens maybe, and you'll have 30 to start off with. And it's about being the last man standing. A bit like Russian roulette? but with kittens.
There's your tagline. Russian roulette with
Yeah.
kittens. Yeah, there you go. You can have that. Exploding Kittens IP owners. Right, let's go on to MetaQuest. We've got... So, MetaConnect and stuff, we've got that to talk about, and then we've also got Sony's State of Play. It's been that long since we've had a podcast out, so we should probably get on to some of that as well.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to talk about, MetaConnect, the big news for VR enthusiasts is, of course, the announcement of the long-known, long-rumoured Quest 3S. So that's out now. It's a good price, I'll say that. £289 over here in the UK, $299 for the 128 gig version. That is a very good price. It's better than the price of the Quest 2 originally over here, which was £299. So I can't help but think that this is going to be on the top of a lot of kids' Christmas present list, really. But it also comes with Batman Arkham Shadow for free as well, which is a £50 game.
Yeah, 50 quid. I mean, that's...
It's a 50 quid game, so they can say, look, you're getting a 50 quid game free with our headset.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
It's like Asgard's Wrath. That was a premium price as well.
Yeah, that was 60. That was 60, that was, yeah. So I'm sure everybody already knows about the specs of the Quest 3S. It's a Quest 3 with Fresnel lenses and a single panel, really. And it's not got the standard depth sensor or anything like that. Or you could look at it as a Quest 2 with a better chip, really. That's how you look at it. And so it's got the same sort of 3-step IPD adjustment in the Quest 2. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure we all know the specs of this by now anyway. What do you think, Rog? What's your overall impression of this headset?
Yeah, I know you mentioned VR enthusiasts, but I don't think VR enthusiasts are going to give a rat's about this. This is for people who haven't got into, VR, or maybe sort of people who are still hanging on to Quest 2s and want an upgrade. I still say buy a Quest 3, the full fat Quest 3.
We went through this, though, Raj, didn't we? Right, we was trying to find reasons. It was like, well, if you pay an extra 100 quid from the 289, you can have the 256 version, and then it was like, well. Then it makes it $399 or whatever, and then it's like, well, for an extra £100, you could have a 512 gig version and have the Quest 3. So it's like, I just couldn't find a way or a reason. Yeah. I mean, this is, like I say, from an enthusiast point of view, again, to pick it up, but it'll be for all the newbies for Christmas and, picking it and getting, like you say, getting Batman with it. I just can't, Fresnel lenses and 3-step IPDs, I think it should just be chucked in the bin, to be honest. But if you can cope with it, if you can deal with the IPD, what I would say to anyone who's thinking about picking one up, if perhaps, I mean, probably everybody listening has a VR headset, but if you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube and you're thinking about picking one up, try a friend and say, have you got anyone you know that you can try a Quest 2 or try it in store when it comes out, just to see if you can get on with the IPD, because I've banged on it again and again and again. That's the most important thing, no matter what, is if it's blurred while you're in the headset, you're not going to have a good time.
Yeah. And, the 256, there's a 256 gig option, but the problem is, once you go to the 256 gig option, it's not much of a jump to go to a proper Quest 3.
Yeah, I think if you go into that, you might as well get a Quest 3 at that point. Yeah,
absolutely. Do not bother. If you can buy a full Quest 3. If you absolutely can't, then it's like the middle, the 256 gig option, and you need that storage. But it's like it just feels like you're just so close to getting a 512 one.
I think if I was talking to like friends or family, I'd say get a Quest 3. There's no way I would say get a Quest 3S. But then you've got to look at it as the side of people that are on the fence, that are just curious about this kind of stuff and don't want to spend a lot of money and just want to get an idea. I honestly think that headset, the Quest 3S, is going to blow them away if they've never been in VR before. Also, you've got Christmas presents. Parents do not want to spend a fortune on Christmas presents for kids and stuff, even like teenagers or anything like that. This is like, to me, this is an absolute bargain of a headset, quite honestly. In spite of the problems, and we're looking at it from a very specific point of view as like you say, Rog, we're VR enthusiasts. This is not that exciting. I'm not going to get one of these. I don't care. I couldn't care less about it personally, but when you look at it as the people that might jump onto this, I reckon this is a pretty important headset, regardless of all of that stuff. But we'll see. The other thing is, will it sell? One of the big stories is like the Quest 3 is not sold as well as the Quest 2. The reason for that is probably twofold. We don't really know exactly why, but it's got to be a big reason. That it's got to be price, first of all. The Quest 3 is more expensive, but also there's probably a portion of people that picked up a Quest 2 out of that $299 price and thought, we can see what VR is all about. They tried it, they're not interested. It sits in a box and they don't use it, so they're not going to upgrade to this headset. So I think there's an element of, is this going to sell as well as the Quest 2, sorry. Based on that, people might have already jumped into it. But then again, there's a whole new set of people that might just be getting curious about this kind of stuff now. So I'm interested to see what this does for sales more than anything else. As I say, as an enthusiast, I don't really care about it, other than the fact that it's going to bring more people on board.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah. I mean, Onycars he still uses Quest 2 for Les Mills. He can tell the difference, but you don't think it's that bad. Yeah, I see. I'm on. Oh, I've got cramp. Oh, no. Carry on. I've got cramp.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
hold on a
it.
minute. I'll be
We've
back.
lost
Call
one.
an
Man down,
ambulance.
man down. Send help.
I'm not making this up.
What?
Right, I was just saying, right, I'm back. Hold on. I'm stretching my leg. Jesus, God damn it. This is a bit. I'm not doing this for comedy value, I swear to God. Right, I was saying for me, it was such a struggle because I couldn't get the focus right in the Quest 2. So Scorpio backed me up on this. I could only play for an hour, maybe. I'd get headaches, I'd feel nauseous. So that was the thing that I struggled with. And I'll go back to, again, if people don't have an issue with the iPad, I know Gary had no issues playing the Quest 2.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Then I'm sure they're going to have a great time with this. And for like Gary says, for the price, I know if my kid was saying, I'd like a Quest 3S and it's £289 and they're going to play Gorilla Tag or some of the other free games and that's all they are going to play.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those. It's like, it's a no-brainer, really. Oh, my God.
But all these kids as well, they are going to grow up. And if they get a passion for this kind of stuff, it's like getting a kid in the 80s, a console or a computer or something like that.
An Amstrad, maybe.
Yeah, an Amstrad. And all I'm doing on it is playing Roland on the ropes and stuff like that. But it gives you, it makes you think that eventually you're going to grow up and you might do some other stuff with it and get more of it. And it's not going to affect everybody. Yeah. That's the thing. So I think having
I've warmed to it.
Yeah.
I've warmed to it coming out. I mean, I'm like with Quest 2, chuck them all in Mount Doom or whatever. But with this, I'm like, I can see what they're going for. Totally. So why not? Yeah.
Yeah. I did just want to mention this quickly as well, along with this, the open interface for the Quest 3 now as well, which was announced.
Yeah. Don't start me on that.
Well, I'm
curious.
I've got to be honest. Yeah, because don't you use your Bobo, Lee, without...
I do. I have used it without the fascia, and I've even you can even 3D print some things. Now, I think this is a great idea. What I don't think is, and this is how my brain works, so I do apologise, it's $39.99, right? Which is the same price as any of the other fascias, but half of it's missing.
Yeah.
So why is it the same price?
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem I've got with it as well, if you look at it, I don't think it's adjustable. I don't think you can adjust it in and out. There doesn't seem to be any way to do that, unless I'm not seeing something.
I don't know. I can't see. Yeah,
because on the current Quest 3 ones, you've got 3 settings, right? Inside you can click and alter it. So it slightly alters the FOV somewhat. I mean, these are for...
We'll have to confirm that.
For fitness things, really, isn't it?
Well,
I do like it, but I don't want to pay the price.
I think it's as well. It's for mixed reality as well. For if your productivity kind of use cases. So if you're sitting at your table and you've got these 3 monitors in front or 6 monitors, whatever, then you can still see your periphery as well while you're doing all that stuff. So I think it will be good for that. And I'd pick one of these up, but it's too expensive. I can't. Yeah. I'm not going to spend that much money for something I'm probably just going to try a few times.
Do you know, when I went to the DigVR thing, they had they had a load of quests set up for everybody just to have a go on, and then there was a couple of stations at the Roto VR, and I tried both. So first off, I tried a quest with the horrible default strap for the first time since I got mine.
Yeah.
And good God, I literally spent 5 minutes trying to adjust it so I could actually use it, because obviously it was like mashing my glasses into my face or trying its best to. And I finally got to the point where I could cope with it for 15 or 20 minutes. Fortunately, the Roto thing, they had a rigid head strap on that, so that was fine. But yeah, good grief. before you replace anything, if you've got a Quest 3, or a Quest 2, if you're still using that default strap out of the box, even if you think it's all right, get yourself any other rigid head strap whatsoever, and you will be shocked at the difference. I still don't understand how some people think that's comfortable.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the other thing as well? Just slightly going off topic. Did you see Boz's tweet apologising to Palmer Lucky?
Yes.
Grief, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that all about? I mean, I'm not the biggest Boz fan on the planet, but
Understatement.
I kind of, I understand. I kind of, you know what? If he's willing to apologise for things that were out of his control and he was getting told things maybe that weren't true from other people, then fair enough. He's come out, he's been the bigger man, he's apologised. So perhaps I should apologise to Boz for mostly calling him Boz Wormtongue. Mostly.
But that came off the back of a article in Tablet, wasn't it, with Mark Zuckerberg, where he was talking something. I mean, I don't know if that was exactly what caused this, because Boz had obviously been talking to other people behind the scenes anyway, but Mark Zuckerberg had saying along the lines of, he'd always admired Palmer Luckey and blah, blah, blah. He went through all these things of his achievements, starting 2 successful companies. And then he said, we hope we can work together again in the future on something, which, that's pretty big statement. Could Palmer Luckey return to what was Oculus one day? You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that photograph that showed him wearing the Orion glasses, and my brain went, oh, that can't be Orion. It must be something else. There's no way he'd be there.
Yeah, I know.
And so I just totally skipped over and never read anything about it. And
it feels
crazy.
It feels a little bit like, because he, even in his response to it, he was talking about how a lot of the people that were the impetus for what he calls like a character assassination. What word did he use? I think he was...
Yeah, something like that.
Inside the company, but also external as well. But anyway, a lot of those people have left now, and so it obviously, I don't know if he's got actually a big beef with Mark Zuckerberg necessarily, which I always assumed was the case, but maybe not. I don't know, or they're patching things up.
If you read History of the Future, the main guy who seems to have done the dirty on him was Brendan Arib, according to by reading that book, which who was one of the original guys who helped him found Oculus.
Well, he seemed to Brendan Arib, because obviously, if anyone who doesn't know, I'm sure most people do, but Brendan Arib was sort of the first person to get on board with what Palmer Luckey was doing. He was like the first investor and the first person to push things forward.
Yeah.
With him, they started Oculus together, really. I mean, he joined and they started it, and along with John Carmack. And I think John Carmack came later, but it's surprising to me because
Nate Mitchell was one of the original.
Yeah, Nate Mitchell came on as well, and another guy as well. I forget the name, but But the point is that Brendan Arib seems to have a problem with Palmer Luckey's politics, and in that book, anyway, that's what, because he questioned him at one point. I remember that in the book. But I'm surprised that he would have been the one who actually pushed to get rid of Palmer Luckey, even regardless of that. But I don't know I can't remember the book. I've only read it once, I think. So I can't remember exactly what happened with that. But if it was Brendan Arib, then it's just a bit of a surprise, really.
Yeah.
But
sorry about that. We kind of went off a little bit track. That's my fault. But I thought it was important.
Talking about going off on another tangent as well, something I want to mention last time. Anybody who doesn't know, who was watching this for the first time or joined in last time, some of the background video with the arcade cabinets, by the way, is from a project called Arcade Time Capsule by a guy called Half Deck.
I've just switched
which
off
is
it.
absolutely amazing arcade emulator.
So if you've never the time that Gary switches the video.
Just as you start going onto that. Switch it back.
So if you've never seen Arcade Time Capsule, go and Google that, join the Discord. It's a free download. Obviously, you'll have to source your own ROMs, the correct ROMs for it and everything. But it's one of the best ways to play old arcade retro games in VR. It's absolutely amazing. The cabinets, the detail on them is absolutely outstanding. One of my
and
favourites.
It's still updating, right? I think on the Discord, he's still busy working behind.
I'm still working on it.
Developer, and he's still working on different cabinets and that.
Yeah, I mean, he's
doing
doing
little snippets out on Twitter, don't he, about what he's working on the cabinets.
You'll see him on Discord. He'll be in Substance Painter, obviously doing the doing the artwork and stuff, and creating the cabinets and whatever. Yeah, it runs an old version of MAME. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, you have to get quite a specific version, don't you? As well, if I remember. Yeah,
you do. Yeah,
I had to re-download a different version to get it working.
Absolutely incredible to walk around in.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the glasses, you know about Palmer Lucky wearing these Meta Orion glasses? We spoke about this because we were watching. Did we jump on Discord eventually, or did I say I can't handle public today? I think I did say that. Sorry, everybody. We just I think me, Gary, and Ross jumped on and watched some of the Connect. I say watched. We were just talking about other things mainly, but when the two Ronnie glasses came on, I was really intrigued by it. I was really interested in thinking, wow, this is what they've got now. In the next 5 years, it's going to be amazing. But then Gary pointed out that it's hologrammatic, right? So he was like, well, this is like the Magic Leap 2. And that's when I sort of noticed on the videos, it didn't look that colourful. It looked a bit washed out. There's some issue. I mean, look, it was brilliant. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But you're probably best to talk about this type of thing, Gary, than me. But
well,
I mean, what do you think? I don't know. I mean, like this is where Meta's going, right? And PD made a good point. I went to PD's yesterday, and I think I've mentioned this very quickly as well. When they do get these glasses down to what they want it to be, and that's all they're focused on, what's going to happen to VR?
I think, it's difficult to know exactly what's going to happen, because I think even if they get them down to like glasses form factor, they still won't be capable of what a VR headset can do anyway.
No,
there's going to be limitations. The thing is with these,
not to think everybody are.
What I'll say is, I'm not saying, I'm definitely not saying that these are, Magic Leap 2, Magic Leap have already done this with Magic Leap 2. I don't mean that. What I mean to say is that these are a better version of what Magic Leap are doing.
Sorry, that's what
I think. It's like, because we don't know what the display technology is exactly like in here, but it's basically waveguide technology, but they are doing some things different with that as well. But Magic Leap 2 uses waveguide technology. This has got 70 degrees diagonal field of view. Magic Leap 2 has 70 degrees diagonal field of view. So from a raw specs kind of thing, you do think, well, it looks like a better version of Magic Leap 2. The thing as well in this presentation, which Mark Zuckerberg did at MetaConnect, he brought out these glasses. And to me, I didn't think he made it clear that this also required a separate computing puck as well, which is wireless. It just fits in your pocket, and then it helps with all the processing. There is some processing on board on these glasses, but it also requires this extra computing unit as well, which I don't think he made clear on his presentation. I felt like I thought I was far more impressed when I thought, everything is in these glasses. And again, Magic Leap have a not wireless, but they have a computing puck which handles all the thing. So I think this is bringing where all this technology, I think it really brings it down to earth, to the fact that how far away we are from true just AR glasses, more than ever. That's what I think it brings down. I think these are impressive. I would love to try them, and I'm sure I would be blown away by them. But they're still not to the form factor that everybody needs. You still have to have this external processing puck and stuff like that, which might be a minor inconvenience, but it's still an inconvenience which you've got to trying to convince a group of people, the general public. It's just an impossible task.
The processing puck has got to be your phone.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is that they want to move away from the phone eventually as well. They don't want phones. They want just these glasses. And I guess you're right. I mean, as a first step, that makes a lot of sense. But then again, your phone battery is going to be dying.
That's true.
I think that it's a very difficult. It is. This is the thing. And this is the reason why I say it's so far away, what we really want, the dream of these AR glasses. And even if they get this, what they've shown here, down to the form factor, you can't use these kinds of glasses in daylight. You can't walk around the streets in them. I mean, I'd be shocked if you could do that. They just don't have the brightness. You can't walk around with them because the objects that they're placing will just be more or less transparent based on the light in a sunny day outside. It just can't compete with that light. So you've got to...
Main fan points out there, that if your phone dies too soon, then you're back to the Gear VR problem.
Yeah. Same thing. It's great, and I know... I hope this will happen one day, and I'm glad that they're showing this future as well. I don't want anyone to, think that I'm saying that these are a load of rubbish or anything like that. I don't think that. I just think it really proves more than anything else how far away we're all going to have to wait for this future of AR, true AR glasses. It's at least, in my opinion, it's like at least a decade based on what they're showing here. And this is the most advanced thing they can make without a budget, really, at this moment in time. So,
when they're rumored to be like 10 grand a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although there was an interesting comment from Palmer on that in that regard. He said they went from when they were creating the Rift, they went from he said even more than that, over 10 grand's worth of technology to the Rift in a year.
Yeah.
That's how quickly they got the cost down.
Which, yeah, I mean, the thing is with these, do you think? Because I wonder, I can't remember where I heard about this now, or I read something somewhere where they were saying that they want to get the first iteration of the glasses of these that they release will probably be in a couple of years, but they won't be as high spec as these, basically.
Yeah, 2030, I think I read somewhere as well.
Yeah. I thought it was closer than that, like 2027 or 2028, something like that, around there. But they wouldn't be what they are showing in these glasses. There will be a cutback version of what they're showing here. And they're also working on these other things like smart glasses as well, the Ray-Ban smart glasses, which I'm sure will progress, and you'll start to maybe get glasses which just have a heads-up display, but they don't have true AR or any sort of world interpretation or anything like that as these do. I'm really interested in this technology. I really, really am. But again, it's just frustrating because I want to experience this before I die, and I'm not sure I'm going to. But
each time you see something new, each time they show something, it just feels further and further away, doesn't it? When it comes to AR, it just seems.
It does.
It feels like decades rather than 5 years.
Yeah. And 70 degrees field of view might be quite good to AR. As I mentioned, I picked up that Magic Leap 1, the original Magic Leap. It's pretty impressive, but it's not usable for almost anything, really. And you just think, how far away is it? Like as a phone replacement, which is what they are desperate to get to. In fact, at one point in the past, there were rumours that Apple were referring to what they were originally developing as these kinds of AR glasses as the iPhone replacement project. That's what they were referring to it as. And now Meta want to go in that direction, or they've always had plans to go in that direction anyway. But you just think, how far away can it be that these are really going to replace phones on a grand scale? 15 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Project Orion. The other, quickly on this one, I mean, it's not very exciting. HTC Vive Focus Vision was announced as well. Fresnel lenses, that's the big thing.
I mean, I'm just, right, it's got to be a massive cost thing. I don't want to go on a rant, but pancake lenses must cost an absolute fortune to put in these headsets, because why have £1,000 plus headset with Fresnel lenses in? Admittedly, it's got a DisplayPort. I mean, when you go down the listing of what it's got, DisplayPort, PCVR, but I think you have to pay for an adapter, don't you? It's got color pass through. It's got the old XR2 Gen 1 with 12 gig of RAM and an LCD panel. But it's just like Fresnel lenses, bump. I'm not interested. And that's straight away.
Yeah,
it must cost a fortune to put these lenses in.
It's
got to do.
That's what you got to think, isn't it? Really, I mean, that's the only explanation for it. They've got to be very expensive. But then it's also only got the same chip in it as the Quest 2. So it's got the XR2 Gen 1 SoC, although it's got the equivalent of the Quest Pro chip, I suppose, because it's got the higher RAM. It's got 12 gigabytes of RAM in there as well. LCD panel, very high resolution LCD panel, I will say that. So 2448 by 2448.
Yeah.
Color pass through. The big thing that people were... it's got eye tracking as well, of course, and the other thing is it's got a DisplayPort for PC VR, not in the price included. You do need an adapter, which costs $160 in order to do that. But it does have that capability, which a lot of people are interested in. The problem is, are they interested in it in a headset where it's sort of limited in other areas like those Fresnel lenses? So maybe still people are, but... Why have I not got a price on this list? Why did I not put a price down?
I'm sure it's above $1,000. I thought someone say it were $1,000 odd.
Yeah, I think it's about $1,000.
So
apologies to
everyone.
Price,
what a Quest 3 is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's aimed at. Who's it supposed to be aimed for? Who's going to pay double the price of a Quest 3? And I'm not I'm not being paid by Meta to say this, right? Boz hadn't dropped me an email. But I just don't see. I mean, look, we've mentioned this before, right? The DisplayPort, and like me and Roger have both said, from this from the Quest 3 now and what it does wirelessly in that, we can't really see a massive difference.
No.
I mean, I'm not really seeing huge amounts of compression or anything, but I suppose if that's a massive thing and it's important to you, maybe it's important for the sim racers and things like that, then maybe it's something that they would look at.
I will caveat that with,
and without tracking.
Can't see a difference with Wi-Fi 6E. Quest normal AirLink or even the link cable is garbage for me. I can't stand it. I wouldn't use either. It's awful on my setup anyway. But Wi-Fi 6E, I just don't see the compression.
No.
It's like I can't, I don't know. Perhaps it's just me today, but I just can't see from going from pancake lenses back to Fresnel.
No.
Yeah, I have got a original PSVR 1 right next to me now, but that's mainly for nostalgia and things like that.
That's got aspheric lenses, the original PSVR as well. It's not even got.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's got those weird, which are really good. They are really good lenses on that headset.
I don't think they're too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're too bad at all. Yeah. But going back to Fresnel, I can't do it.
No, the only thing I'll say, because I agree with you, like on the wireless, I'm pretty much there with you. I always use my Quest 3 for wireless play, virtual desktop, because you got more settings and stuff like that in there, more options, and it works really, really well. And I go back and forth, like you were saying, Rog, between like Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 6E. I go back and forth between all that and between different routers, and I don't notice a lot of difference either. The one thing I'll say is, since using the PSVR 2 on PC for certain things, and I mentioned this last time, I do feel like it's just, there's something in terms of like underlying stability, and I don't even know, because I don't know if I could tell a difference. If somebody put a headset on me blind, I don't know if I'd be able to tell a difference in terms of raw performance if I'm using a PSVR 2 or a Quest 3. And yet I feel like when I'm using the PSVR 2, there's something there when I'm playing Half-Life Alyx, like those micro stutters that occur every maybe, 20 seconds or 50 seconds or a minute and a half on the Quest 3, they don't happen on the PSVR 2. I don't know if there's something to be said for that or not, because it's not enough for me to really nail it down whether that's a cause or not. But there's something there in terms of, at least a placebo anyway. Maybe it's placebo.
Yeah, that's that. Let's move on from it. I don't think anybody's bothered, are they?
No, not really. So Sony's State of Play, they had that event, and there was more announced for VR than I think anyone expected, really. And the first thing was quite an interesting looking title, at least. We'll see what it's like. But it's called the Midnight Walk. It's got this interesting sort of stop motion animation, claymation kind of aesthetic to it. I don't know anything about this. I've just seen the trailer. What are your thoughts, Rog?
Yeah, well, I've been looking forward to this for a while, because the bizarre thing is I've been following them on Twitter since probably the beginning of the year at least. And this is by the same people who did Lost in Random, apart from this is in VR. Similar sort of style, but I was slightly surprised where I've seen sort of a lot of content creators going, oh, wow, I've not heard this before. I didn't know, it's a brand new VR game announced. I'm thinking, I've just been assuming this was a VR game for ages. I'm sure they've posted it was a VR game. The thing that surprised me, it's also coming to flat screen. That was the surprise that got me. So I'm really looking forward to it. The only problem I might have is I don't generally like that stop motion look in VR. It always looks a bit jarring. I was
thinking of you when I saw this trailer. That's the thing, because I've heard you mention that before, like the walkabout with Wallace and Gromit. Yeah.
And there's been experiences in the past. There were quite a few in the sort of early DK days as well, where people are experimenting with stop motion. And the problem is you're looking around the world totally smoothly. You'll have some items floating around or moving around at full frame rate, yet the animation for the characters themselves is like every 2 or 3 frames, and it just doesn't look right. There's a total disconnect. I'm hoping I can get over it with this, because I really did like Lost in Random. I think they were involved with Ghost Giant as well. I don't know if they did it or some of them were involved with it. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. The actual style looks fantastic. I just hope I can get over that animation style in the headset. That's the only sort of worry I've got.
Yeah, I definitely know. I know what you mean about that animation style. And sometimes I feel the same way. Even in that walkabout thing, I was thinking that looks a bit odd. But then I don't know. I don't feel like it's as jarring for me as you've mentioned, because you've mentioned it several times in the past, and I don't feel like that. But I guess it's each case. You judge it by each case, and
Yeah.
This, I mean, the visuals in this look like nothing I've seen before in a game. To be honest.
Yeah.
So
it looks fantastic.
Yeah. I'll be interested. What did you think of this, Lee?
It might still be.
Sorry, my missus just stuck her head around the door. I've not seen State of Play. I think I missed it for some reason. I think wasn't it on at like 11 o'clock at night, Rog?
It was late, yeah.
It was late, but no, this looks really good. I'm watching this video, and I'm same as Rog. I do find the stop motion a little bit hit and miss, especially when like the Wallace and Gromit thing didn't quite look right. But I think this looks really good. Yeah, I'd like to. When's this coming out? I'm just so new.
I don't think we've got a release date, have we? I think it's just been announced.
No.
Yeah,
officially announced, because I don't think they'd announced the name before. They've been posting sort of like photographs and everything of their sort of like sculptors creating the models, because they are actually physically created and then scanned.
Wow. Yeah, because it's very like Night Before Christmas or whatever it's called, Nightmare Before.
Oh yeah.
God,
it kind of looks like that Tim Burton kind of style, don't it?
That's insane amount of work, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. But everything's sculpted in clay or modelled somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
It's definitely unique.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing how it progresses for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there was Metro Awakening as well. So this video you uploaded, Rog, just so we could show it in this, like the side by side. Somebody did a side by side comparison, didn't they? Based on the trailers for the PSVR 2 and the Quest 3 of Metro Awakening. So this was shown.
The somebody who did the side by side was me.
Oh, it was you, was it? Oh, you did it for the 2. Oh, right, okay. I didn't realise.
I just downloaded most of the trailers. It's pretty much the same gameplay. It's the same section.
Yeah. So that's it. Sort of shows the difference. It sort of makes the Quest 3 look good, but then if you really look, it also makes the PSVR 2 version look very good as well.
Yeah.
So I think everybody's getting a win out of this one, really. I mean, I think a lot of people, from what I've seen online, people that have seen sort of the 2 trailers and stuff, they're just hoping it's not been dumbed down too much in terms graphically for the PSVR 2 or PC release. It's difficult to say. One of the other things I've seen is that people that have tried it, I don't know who specifically actually, but there have been sort of people talking and chatter saying, oh, this is the Half-Life Alex killer and stuff. Haven't we heard that before by these devs though? Arizona Sunshine 2, when that was being demoed to people, they were saying it's the Half-Life Alex killer or as good as Half-Life Alex. Because there's certain aspects that look very similar in terms of the gun, the reticle on the gun and stuff like that. There's things that are going on that are very similar, but I'm not going to believe that either way. I will say I'm more interested in this game. I am slowly getting more interested because it does look very good. That's one thing I'll say.
Yes, people in the chat going about they've not played the original ones. Yeah, the Metro games are on my pile of shame as well. I did start the first one a couple of times, very briefly, but never really got into them. This one is set before all the other games, though. So effectively, timeline-wise, this is the first game. So, there you go. You don't need to have played the other games to know what's going off.
It doesn't look too bad on Quest 3. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, I know. It does look pretty good.
The lighting and the shadows look really good.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I put them up is because sometimes people do play on multiple headsets, don't they? I do. I play on multiple headsets. And sometimes it's just easier and nicer to pick up a Quest than having to either boot up your PC or load, turn your PlayStation or whatever, just whack your Quest on and you're away. And if the experience is close enough, I mean, like Walkabout Mini Golf, I just always pick the Quest up. Yeah. So that's why I did the comparison, just so, get an idea. I think
there's one thing with Walkabout. I will say I think I'm going to pick this up on PC anyway, just because I like the option. Because if I get it on PC, I can play it on the PSVR 2 headset. I can play it on the Quest 3 if I want to. I've got multiple options then.
Yeah.
And with a game like this, where you want that immersion as well, Walkabout, I couldn't care less about playing that on the PC or PSVR 2. It will always be on the Quest 3. But this one looks like that kind of thing to me.
Yeah, I'm with you. It'd have to be PSVR 2 or probably PC. Then you can just max it out, can't you?
Yeah. Do we know on the PSVR 2, are they giving any details on the frame rate and stuff? Is it reprojection or native?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think I've read anything, but I've no idea.
Because if it's like running at a native frame rate, maybe the PSVR 2 version would be the way to play, just to get like consistent. It's going to run. Well, it should run relatively consistently anyway, as long as it's native. So, okay. So that's another one that we've spoken about a lot already, and it looks great. Looking forward to it. Bit of a surprise at the end of this one, though, this state of play. It was a shock in some ways.
Yeah.
A bit of a kick in the balls to others in another way. And that's Hitman PSVR 2. So this is World of Assassination. This is all 3 games. So this is confusing to me because I'm thinking, because somebody said that if you buy either Hitman 2 or Hitman 3 on disc for the PS5, sorry, then you've got an upgrade path to basically get this for then £10 or $10, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got to look into that a lot more. It's so confusing what they did with this, because there was Hitman 1, Hitman 2, Hitman 3. Then they made Hitman World of Assassination, but Hitman 3 became World of Assassination. But if you had Hitman 2, you could also have an upgrade path to it as well. But anyway, the announcement of this was a bit of a shock because, first of all, we weren't expecting yet another Hitman game. This is not like a version of the original PSVR version of Hitman either. That's the thing. They've completely redone it or improved it. You've got dual wielding.
Well, they're claiming to. They claim that for Quest as well.
That's true.
What happened there?
Yeah. But you've got motion controls in this, rather on the original PSVR, you had to use the DualShock. And yeah, it's just a shock. It's like when you look at the launch of Hitman 3 Reloaded on the Quest 3, and then you get this announcement, it's just a real surprising thing. Nobody was expecting this anyway, and I'm going to hold out hopes. Look, I am desperate for this game to be good in VR one day, and I'm hoping this is the one. If I'm thinking of just getting a Hitman 3 disc off eBay, which you can get for probably about £10 to £15 anyway. I might get that, then get the upgrade to this VR version for £10. But then again, I should probably wait for reviews. That's probably the best way.
Yeah,
to...
Jim and Rips made a good point. Who's actually the developer for this on PSVR?
It's IOI this time. It's not XR Games.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, pop up on the trailer. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, XR Games just did the Quest 3 version, and yeah, I mean they've let about some. They somebody on LinkedIn.
People,
72 people out of 84 apparently. So they've kept on 12 staff. Although there was another report saying that they had around 100 people as well. So I don't know exactly, but...
And this is literally the day after they announced another game, which we'll speak about soon.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. If this is right, who's going to bug fix? Who's going to fix the patches?
I don't know what's going on with that company. I don't know how they can even do it really now. It's very odd. Yeah. The thing is...
pretty good, the PSVR 2.
It does.
I will say.
Yeah, it does. I'm desperate for it to be good.
Well, we all are, aren't we? I think everybody wants the Hitman game, because whoever gets it right, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the card, it said fourth time's the charm, right?
I know that's well. I put that on our Discord, didn't I? I said how many more times am I going to be disappointed by a VR port? Maybe one more time, because I think that's how I feel. I feel like just not even waiting reviews, just getting that disc, and I don't know. Obviously, that's a ridiculous thing to say. I'm going to wait for reviews. I am going to wait for reviews on it. Okay, so we can start wrapping things up here, but let's get on to some new and upcoming games that we've got. So, Motion Soccer. I've got the trailer. I've not even watched the trailer. What's this?
Right, okay. I only put this down because by Ivanovic Games, who I've sort of a bit of a soft spot for with some of their stuff, like Back to Midway and Midway Multiverse, that more shootery type stuff. And then, they put out a thing where they're all wanting testers to sign up via their Discord for a new football game. We're talking about proper football here, not rugby with armour. So if you like football and want a football game, go search out their Discord and you might be able to get in on that. But it's Ivanovic. That's the only reason I put it on there, really, just because I liked most of their previous stuff. It can be a bit flaky, but I've just a soft spot for their games, really. Yeah.
What do you think of this one, Lee? You like football? Right. You like your football, don't you?
I do. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, is this? Did you say this was Quest 3? Or is it Steam? Or is it?
Is it
Steam? I think. Is it?
No, it's on Quest as well.
It is on Quest,
this must be the PC version that we're watching.
I would think so. Yeah, looks like it.
It doesn't look too bad. Do you know what I mean? It looks okay, I guess. I'd give it a go. There's no other football games out on VR, is it? That
Not-
I would say proper football, but I don't want to alienate everybody in the US.
No, but there's ones where you have to like head the ball and stuff, and that's about it, isn't it? There's not a proper. Yeah. Okay. I've got no interest in football, but maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll take the other side. Somebody who really doesn't like football, but.
Same for me, really. I'm not bothered about football at all. It's just because it was Ivanovic.
Yeah. But then the other game that we were alluding to earlier with regards to XR Games is Starship Troopers, which was just announced as well. So this is
a bit of a bizarre one. Because it was announced for Quest and PSVR 2. Yeah, but they didn't say it was coming to PC. Yet during the actual trailer, the footage says it's captured on PC. Yeah. And then in the actual there's a massive description under when it was, I think IGN put the video up, and there's a massive description, and it said at the same time it was coming out of early access for PC. However, this doesn't appear to be in early access on PC, at least not publicly. Yeah, but there is another Starship Troopers game on Steam that is in early access. So whether they've got that mixed up it's just a mess. So yeah, unless we find out otherwise, it's Quest and PSVR 2.
Right.
But the trailer says captured on PC. Sorry?
It's out soon, isn't it, as well?
Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah, 17th.
Yeah.
17th of October.
Yeah.
31st of October.
I was thinking about.
Yeah, 31st of October for PSVR 2.
But again, it's XR Games, so I think we've said everything we can.
Yeah.
In the last 5-10 minutes about them. So
the problem with it is you look at the trailer for the game and there's not many bugs on screen at once, and that's the thing about Starship Troopers, isn't it? You're supposed to be swarmed.
Yeah.
I
think as someone mentioned in the comments, I thought these Goldilocks mentioned that. I bet there's a lot of bugs in it anyway, without the ones on screen. So
yeah.
Pitching, little joke there.
We'll see.
I don't want to see devs do badly. Nobody wants to see game studios shut down and things, but it kind of reminds me a little bit by looking at it. I think me and Scorpio, we played, I always get this name wrong. Is it Guardians Frontier or Guardians? I never get the name of the game right. But that was kind of like similar to a bit Starship Troopery as well. So that might be one that people might want to have a look at if you can try to work out what game it is that I'm talking about, because I can't remember the name.
Was that me putting Metro down again when we've already covered it?
Yeah, it's just to say that it's out on November
Guardians
7th,
Frontlines.
but yeah,
that's it.
Guardians Frontlines.
I'm pretty sure I called it Guardians Frontier on my video that I got wrong. It's Guardian Frontlines, yeah.
Metro out on the 7th, on 7th of November.
Yeah, and then on the 17th again of October is ExoCars. Bit of confusion about the multiplayer on this one initially, wasn't there? So there was something where they were only showing the ghost cars, so it was like asynchronous multiplayer. It looked like, but then they have come out and said that it is full multiplayer now. You can
it was Wes, wasn't it, that came out on their podcast.
I looked on their Discord. They've said it on there as well.
Yeah.
If you play single player, there's like 16 ghost cars. So I don't know I think it might pull the times from your friends list or other people.
Yeah,
online.
I think that's what I've read as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you race against those. There is actual proper multiplayer, but it's only 4-player.
Yeah.
But at least it's there anyway. It looks good. There is a test weekend going off because they did ask for people to do a test weekend this weekend. Apparently, if you signed up for the Quest version, you actually they managed to get hold of it. But people who signed up or wanted to opt into the Steam version, they've not sent Steam keys out yet. So who knows?
Yeah.
I think if you do get access, it's behind an NDA anyway, so we don't know what it's actually like.
Are you going to pick this one up then, Rog?
Quite probably.
Yeah.
I do like the look of it.
Yeah. So I
do as well.
Yeah. If we all pick it up, then we could all jump into this one because this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me, of the tracks. What was the game called? I'm not sure if it was Colin McRae Rally or one of them, but it had something like that. The ones what's inside the stadium, where you could race around and do it. Not in VR. I'm talking flat screen, but. My brain's mush today, so I can't remember what that game was called, but I used to play that quite a lot.
I don't know that one, yeah.
Makes sense.
Don't ring a bell.
I'll try and find out what it is, pop it on the Discord.
Yeah.
Scorpio saying he selected the option for Quest.
Was it Dirt?
Didn't get a key for either.
Thanks, Scorpio. Yeah, it would have been Dirt. It was called something like X Cross or something like that. It's quite a decent, fun multiplayer.
Yeah.
So if we can play that in VR, definitely.
Yeah, I'd be up for that. Because you can use your racing wheel and stuff like that. It's coming out on PSVR 2. It's got racing wheel support on PSVR 2 as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, seem to be doing all the right stuff. And then on the go on.
So people just a bit suspect about the company who's doing it.
Yeah, Joyway. Yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of people do like Joyway, but they have this habit of starting games, releasing them in early access, and never. Yeah. They've got that kind of reputation now, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cross-play or not. That's unknown, I think. So.
And then
we'll see.
On the 22nd, we've got Maestro out on both Quest and Steam. This is not coming to PSVR 2, is that right? Or not yet, anyway?
Not that I've seen.
No,
we did get sent keys for this, and there is no. I think the email did say there's no embargo.
Yes.
So we got access to the Quest version. It was literally last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Late
so we've
last
had no time to play. I've had an hour on it. I love the demo. When we did mention the demo a few episodes ago now, and I think it's great, and I still think so from what I've played as well. Hopefully we'll get to play the PC one as well. The only quick worry I've got about the Quest version, I put this on Discord. I played it for about an hour last night, and I was in the menu, so I'm thinking, oh wow, it's raining outside. It's really heavy. It's coming over the sound from my headphone. I quit out the game, so I'm just in the home front end Quest menu, and I could still hear this noise. And I realised it wasn't rain, sort of like ambient rain I could hear outside. The fan on my Quest 3 had spun up like never before.
It
was making this really loud noise. I literally thought it was raining outside at first when there was other noise going off, but no, it was really loud. I'd never heard my Quest ever spin the fan up that. Sometimes you hear it spin up a little bit, and you can hear it in the when the Quest goes quiet, when you've got no audio coming through the speakers. This was bad. This was really bad. I think they've cranked the GPU and CPU up massively to get this running on Quest, because I think this video from that video there's from the PC version.
Yeah.
The Quest version doesn't look as good, but it's still good. I was still impressed with what it's doing on the Quest, and it runs all okay. But yeah, that got me slightly worried, because I thought, I don't want to be running my Quest like that. It was absolutely kicking the hell out of that fan inside the headset. So it's like, just be careful on that regard. There is a demo out for the Quest version. I didn't realise there's a demo for the PC version as well. That you can download, so go take a look at it. Bizarrely, there is also another game called Maestro VR on Steam, which isn't this.
Yeah,
that's the confusing part. The one that's out isn't this one. So yeah,
I really like this as well. I got into it because Roger said try it, and I played it, and it kind of really got me immersed. Like I was turning around, like on the video, facing the crowd, and I was like bowing to them, like I'm some sort of genius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, Menthan saying there is Quest games optimized running. No, it wasn't.
No. I wonder if it'd be interesting to run it through Quest Games Optimized and then lower everything down, see what
That's what
happens.
I said to Lee last night. I said maybe run it through it to lower the res or something.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to. The resolution's fine. It's okay. It's playable, but I wouldn't want it lower than it's at, because then you would start going into jaggy sort of territory. I think they need to cut. I don't know where they could cut back, but I think they need to.
People are watching this and thinking, "Oh, it doesn't look that interesting." Honestly, I thought the same. Until you play it yourself, it's a lot more fun than what you think. And
there's different music in it. There's a lot of classical music in it, but they've picked pieces what are really powerful. Yeah. And one of the ones I was doing last night, it's called O Fortuna. You'll recognise it if you're of a certain age and either remember the Old Spice adverts, or remember the old Excalibur movie as well, where they're riding through the fields with the and
we've got the wrong music there.
That's
You mean
that's it. That's the one.
Old Spice. Yeah. We'll cut that bit. No one will ever hear it.
I think that's the official lyrics, isn't it, for that?
Sounds exactly the same.
Old Spice. Yeah. But yeah, go and give the demo a go anyway. It's really good.
Yeah. I've not played it. I can't even comment, but I have got it, and I'm going to play it.
You've got to jump in it.
Honestly, I can't get on my Quest at the minute. My daughter's playing if she's not playing Starship Home, she's playing Maestro. My son loves Maestro as well. I've not even played it. They've played it because when they played the demo loads over and over again. And then we got the key for it. I said, we've got the full game to Maestro now. And now they've just been on it. I can't get on the Quest at the minute. Maybe I'll get a Quest 3S. Maybe I need to do that.
That's another one to add to the CV. It's corporate zombie says now, I will now consider myself a qualified conductor due to virtual training. So
you're learning so much.
The satisfaction this game gives you when you get it right, Rog, right? You think you're brilliant. You think, I am the best conductor there's ever been.
Conductors don't do anything. I don't know. I don't think they do anything anyway.
It's hand tracking. Well, you can either use controllers or hand tracking. I just use hand tracking with a pen in my hand.
No.
It was just
because they'll put the VR headset on, they'll put the Quest 3 on, and then in pass through go into the kitchen and grab a big plastic straw that we've got, and they'll use that as the stick. Yeah. Right. Finally, we've got Batman Arkham Shadow, the big one, on the 22nd, and this is free with Quest 3 and 3S if you pick one of those headsets up as well. Excited for this one. Looks good.
Oh, this is everything crossed for this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like it's got to be good. Please be good.
I'm sure it will be. I think there's so much publicity about behind it as well, and I think they know they're onto a banger. But we'll see.
It's got that look, right? It's got that look. It's got the Batman look, the Arkham look. The shadows and the darkness, and just to be Batman. For those who have not played the Arkham VR one on PC, it was just great. Just even though that was more of a story-driven thing, really, more than what this looks like. But even then, that still holds up, I think.
Well, this is it. This is like the proper game, hopefully, that we wanted that to be. We knew it wasn't that original one. It was just like a showcase, like an experience, a tech demo kind of thing for what can be. Because that was originally released on PSVR, wasn't it? Only I don't think it came out on Steam until a bit later.
I think it was. Yeah, it was released on Steam later.
Yeah,
quite a bit later, I think.
But and it was great.
You can always pick it up for a couple of quid nowadays. A couple of pounds, sorry.
We went back in like a few months ago though, didn't we? I think we all went back in just to see what it's like
for the first time.
You think how
I
good
played it all the way through and really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so hopefully this will be the proper game version of that, and looking forward to this one.
Yep.
Okay, right, we've been going a bit long, so we should wrap it up. But thank you, everyone. Go on, any final words, either of you guys?
No, just Arizona Sunshine remake out this month as well.
Oh, I forgot to put that one in. Yeah.
We didn't add it to the list. We've covered it before. Yeah,
I've got the trailer.
But that's out. $10 upgrade in it, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'd like to play it on Quest. I've not played the first one. I'd like to quite get it on Quest just to see what it's like, and maybe jump in some multiplayer for that. But thanks everyone who's come right past and commented on the YouTube video. Sorry I've not been so great today. My brain's all over the place. I got cramp, so I must drink more water next time. If I get invited back on, I will definitely drink more water. So thanks everyone for tuning in and watching, listening.
Yeah, me and Roger will just have a quick meeting behind the scenes, see what we want to do going forward.
If
I suddenly get cut off and my avatar disappears, then you know.
Just want to say once again, thank you very much to Dr. Oculus for this week, for the lift down to Kent and back. It's like 8 hours driving that day. It's really appreciated. Go check out the VR Realm. Also, go check out VR Gaming Podcast as well. I was about to go to bed last night when Lee went, new VR Gaming Podcast's out. Yeah. So
it was like 10 past 12 at night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I won't repeat what he said, but main fan had me laughing last night about. He couldn't remember what Hubris was called, and the way he described it, it was the game with the. We'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah, I know the plumbus thing. Is you referring to the plumbus?
Yes.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Yeah.
All right. So thank you everyone for joining us in chat as well for this second live show. We'll be back in around about a month or so, give or take. Yep. So that's it. I guess we'll see you next.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah,
everyone.
Have a good weekend.
Sorry, I've interrupted Gary's outro again.
Here's the difficult bit.
I know.
Okay, right, let's start again. Okay, I'll go quiet. Okay, go.
Cheers, everyone.
See you next time.
Wait, I thought Gary goes first.
Bye.
Bye. See you later. I'm going to do the outro.
Take care.
Take care. Bye. See you later. Bye.